After transmigrating into a book, the female lead's every thought is overheard by the male lead's entire family, but she remains completely unaware. As a result, the more evil she acts, the more doting his family's gazes become. Even the cold and aloof male lead, whenever they're alone, can't stop kissing her. The girl is furious, vowing to eat him up sooner or later. Unexpectedly, the male lead traps her on the bed, thinking, "It's been so long, it's time to act, right?" Without any hope of rescue, the girl finally realizes that they can all hear her innermost thoughts. Just as Su Lingyu, who had recently transmigrated, was preparing to go out and get familiar with her surroundings, she opened the door only to find the male lead, Huo Yan, standing outside. "I've come to tell you that starting tomorrow, I'll be staying at the military camp and won't be coming back. Take care of yourself at home," Huo Yan said. As soon as his words fell, a sweet and soft voice echoed in her ears. No way, my cheap husband is so handsome, and I've just arrived and haven't even touched his hand, and he's already talking about living separately?" Huo Yan subtly glanced around, recalling how similar that voice was to Su Lingyu's. He lifted his cold, phoenix-like eyes and looked at Su Lingyu in front of him. Their eyes met, and Su Lingyu blinked. Then, the sweet, soft voice sounded in Huo Yan's ears again. "Is this the male lead's physique and appearance? His lips are so beautiful, I really want to try them. System, if I tie him up and ravish him, would that count as completing the quote, villainous female supporting character's job?" Huo Yan vaguely sensed that a different soul seemed to be inhabiting her body, which would explain her saying she had just arrived and calling him her cheap husband. As for villainous female supporting character and job, he didn't understand yet and needed to observe further. So Huo Yan decided not to alert her for now. Just then, a voice from downstairs called out for dinner. Su Lingyu's stomach, as if on cue, rumbled twice. Suddenly, the handsome man in front of her didn't seem so appealing. She bypassed Huo Yan, wanting to go downstairs to eat. But after a few steps, she suddenly remembered that she hadn't said anything cruel yet. She felt it didn't quite fit the persona of a villainous female supporting character, so she immediately turned around and glared at the man behind her. "Didn't you say you wouldn't be coming back after tomorrow? Don't think I don't know you want to stay in the military camp to be with Zhou Wanru. Do you really think Zhou Wanru would fall for a cripple? She's only after the Huo family's power. She just wants to be Mrs. Huo." Zhou Wanru was the female lead in the book, a nurse at the military hospital. During Huo Yan's hospitalization after his injury, Zhou Wanru fell in love with him at first sight. Later, the original owner found out and caused several commotions at the hospital, leading to Zhou Wanru's bad reputation and difficulty marrying. Therefore, after the original owner's death, Huo Yan married Zhou Wanru out of responsibility. Just then, the system suddenly popped up a progress bar. "Today's villainy progress, 20%, Su Lingyu chuckled. "Little system, just now I pointed at Huo Yan's nose and called him a cripple. Wasn't that super villainous? Host, you're truly wicked. Stabbing someone where it hurts? That's really going for the kill." Now the male lead seems deeply shaken, his heart like ashes. He can't even make an expression. "What should I do? Was I a bit too much? Never mind. I'm playing the villainous female supporting character anyway, who cares?" As Su Lingyu walked down the stairs, the sweet, soft voice also disappeared. Huo Yan was thoughtful. There were two voices just now. One was Su Lingyu's inner monologue, and the other was a childish voice she referred to as the, quote, system. From their conversation, it seemed Su Lingyu calling him a cripple was just part of her villainous female supporting character's job, and her goal was to die early and go home early. What was her home? Huo Yan went downstairs while pondering. His father, Huo Jiangguo, his mother, Chen Yuxiang, his younger brother, Huo Lang, and his younger sister, Huo Jiang, were already seated. Huo Yan also quickly went and sat next to Su Lingyu. At the dinner table, everyone ate lively and happily, except for Su Lingyu, who looked troubled. Just then, Huo Yan heard her inner thoughts again, full of emotion. "The taste of organic vegetables is truly good. What garbage have we been eating usually?" Huo Yan subconsciously looked at the others and saw them simultaneously pause their eating and glance around. He immediately understood that they had also heard her thoughts. Huo Jiangguo and the others, sensing Huo Yan's warning, resumed chatting and eating in unison, eyeing Su Lingyu from the corner of their eyes. Su Lingyu didn't notice the undercurrents at the table. Instead, she looked back at the kitchen. Her inner voice sounded again. Only tremella? No bird's nest? Oh well, it's the 80s, can't ask for too much. Tremella is good too. The food here is delicious, but as a villainous female supporting character, how do I act disgusted on the surface but subtly eat more? Maybe I'll complain after I finish eating? Yes, that's it, I'm truly brilliant. After eating, Su Lingyu's eyebrows shot up. Remembering her villainous persona, she immediately launched an attack. How is this food so unpalatable? Is it deliberately made pig swill for me? Even dogs wouldn't eat this. Su Lingyu was about to continue her rant when her stomach uncooperatively let out a loud burp. She quickly covered her mouth with both hands, her eyes wide with shock. Huo Xiang couldn't help but burst out laughing. Su Lingyu inwardly grumbled, "How can you laugh? You only scored 8 points in math, and you're afraid of being beaten, so you changed it to 88. What right does a slacker like you have to mock me? At least I was the top scorer in the college entrance exam." Upon hearing this, Huo Jiangguo and Chen Yuxiang's eyes narrowed, simultaneously shooting a silent, murderous glare at Huo Xiang. Huo Qiang was instantly dumbfounded. My plan was flawless. How did big sister-in-law know? This time, it was Huo Lang who couldn't help but laugh. Su Lingyu thought he was laughing at her and immediately retorted, "Heh, a wimp who doesn't even dare to confess to girls has the nerve to laugh? I want to sleep with your brother, and I'll go sleep with him openly later." The Huo family looked at Su Lingyu in shock. Su Lingyu was so embarrassed she wanted to escape. As long as I'm not embarrassed, embarrassment can't catch up to me. Then Su Lingyu snorted coldly, rolled her eyes, and turned to leave, leaving behind the stunned family. After a while, Huo Jiangguo cleared his throat, holding a fist. "Huo Yan, what exactly is going on?" Before dinner, I went to find Su Lingyu, and suddenly I could hear her thoughts. I deduced that she has probably changed souls. Her goal is to act as a villainous female supporting character, and her purpose is to go home. Before, big sister-in-law's heart stopped, and then she was suddenly revived. Could that be when her soul changed? Huo Lang shivered and said, "Then is her home, her maiden home?" Huo Yan shook his head. "Information is limited. I can't be sure, but I think it's mostly not, because she mentioned wanting to complete the mission as soon as possible, die early and go home early. As for what villainous female supporting character means, judging by Su Lingyu's performance today, it seems that calling me useless, slandering me and Zhou Wanru, and saying the food is unpalatable, is villainous." "I know this," Huo Xiang said lively. "The previous Su Lingyu would constantly make trouble, making the house restless. She should be imitating big sister-in-law's behavior and continue to make trouble." Huo Yan nodded. "Father, what do you think we should do?" "The situation is still unclear. Let's observe for a while longer. Huo Yan, don't sleep in the study anymore. Observe from close by." Time quickly came to late night. Outside, the rain poured down, and thunder roared. Su Lingyu was usually most afraid of thunder and was curled up in a corner, not daring to sleep. Just then, Huo Yan opened the door and walked in. Su Lingyu's eyes instantly lit up, but to maintain her evil woman persona, Su Lingyu put away her smile and began to speak sarcastically. "Still know how to come back and sleep, huh? I thought you were going to stay chaste for your little lover and didn't want to get on my bed?" Su Lingyu moved to the window side, clearing half of the bed. Then, with one hand on her chin, she quietly watched Huo Yan, who was in a wheelchair. "This person has inconvenient legs and didn't bring any support. I wonder if he'll ask me for help, but I'm a very principled person. If he lets me see his abs, I might not mind helping him onto the bed." Huo Yan's face flushed. Then he stretched out his hands, braced himself on the wheelchair armrests, and with a powerful push, his body leaped into the air and landed steadily on the bed. Su Lingyu had a look of disgust. "Showing off at night? Don't you know how heavy you are? If you break the bed and I get hurt, can you afford to compensate me?" Inwardly, she was so excited her voice cracked. "This man's arm strength is amazing. I really want to pinch the muscles on his arms. They say powerful military brothers can kill mosquitoes by tensing their muscles." Huo Yan suddenly took a deep breath, turned off the bedside lamp, and prepared to lie down and rest. Just then, Su Lingyu's inner thoughts sounded in his ear again. "So annoying. This dogman is really clueless. I'm so beautiful, and he has no interest in me at all. Could it be that Huoyan is impotent? Or is it because his mobility issues prevent him? The original owner never even enjoyed having such a handsome husband. She was truly useless. I'm different. I can be on top. Early one morning, Huoyan only closed his eyes at 3 a.m. He was sleeping deeply, but suddenly, a strong sense of danger surged through him. He opened his phoenix eyes and saw Su Lingyu staring at him. Startled, he quickly sat up in bed, pulling a blanket around his waist, while his sharp phoenix eyes stared directly at her, hoping to make her restrain herself. "What are you staring at me for? Do you think I'm eager to look at you? I'm just checking if you're a man since you have such poor taste." Su Lingyu scoffed, then got up and left, heading downstairs for breakfast. After last night's delicious meal, Su Lingyu was looking forward to the Huo family's breakfast. She went downstairs, and sure enough, her expectations weren't disappointed. A table full of delicious food was laid out. Su Lingyu wanted to try everything, but she couldn't start until everyone was present. Finally, when Huoyan was seated, Su Lingyu's cheerful inner voice sounded again. "Finally, we can eat! This Huoyan is so slow. He was so powerful last night, almost knocked the bed over, but today he's like a snail going downstairs." Hearing such explosive inner thoughts, Huozhang and Huolang, the two siblings, couldn't hold back and directly spurted their drinks all over the table in a flower-scattering display. Su Lingyu was so angry she didn't even need to act anymore. She slammed her hand on the table. "Are you two llamas? You've ruined a whole table of food. And you, Huoyan, you're disabled, so don't live on the second floor. Aren't you tired climbing up and down? Even if you're not tired, do you have to make the whole family wait for you for every meal? Don't you have any shame?" At this, Huoxiang stood up, her small face flushed with anger. "Sister-in-law, you can scold me, but what you said about my brother is really too much. His leg had a chance to be cured. If you hadn't argued with him in the car and grabbed the steering wheel, causing his accident and secondary injury, he would have been able to stand up again." Huo Xiang's words silenced the atmosphere at the dinner table. Just then, a wronged inner voice sounded, "What's going on? Is it so hard to just have a good meal? Besides, Huoyan's leg isn't incurable. He has a strong physique, and the car accident and fracture barely affected him. He didn't meet a good doctor himself and is blaming it on me. How infuriating." With that, Su Lingyu picked up her small pearl bag and gracefully walked out, leaving the stunned Huo family staring at each other. Half an hour later, Su Lingyu, having eaten breakfast to her heart's content, returned home and tidied up her wardrobe. After that, she wanted to buy some new clothes, as she didn't want to wear clothes that others had worn. Downstairs, Huo Lang was reporting to the family, "I didn't hear sister-in-law's inner thoughts outside. I don't know if she wasn't thinking or if it's impossible to hear them outside. This time might just be luck. We can't let our guard down. We need to find reliable people to verify it multiple times." Just then, a sweet, soft voice sounded. "What are you talking about? I feel like you're talking bad about me. Where are you going?" Huo Yan's voice broke the silence. "You really are talking bad about me," Su Lingyu retorted, not hitting back directly. "Never mind. I'm a generous person. I won't argue with you. By the way, we've been married for a month or two. Where's your money? You haven't given me a single cent. Are you saving it to support a mistress?" "My previous allowance was used to support the families of fallen comrades. From now on, I'll only take half of my monthly allowance, and the rest will be yours." "But what do you need money for?" "Of course, it's for buying new clothes. There are barely any decent clothes in my wardrobe. They're all made of rough fabric. I'm going to throw them all away later." "Throw them all away? That's too wasteful," Huo Xiang exclaimed, feeling pained. "Whose family's clothes aren't mended and patched for 3 years now? Not to mention their small quilts. Even the clothes Huo Jianguo wears at home have several patches on them. She really envies the clothes in big sister-in-law's wardrobe. I can't believe she's still not satisfied." Su Lingyu's eyebrows furrowed. "I'm using my own husband's money to buy clothes, and you have an opinion? Except for 2 silk nightgowns, all the other clothes make my skin red, itchy, and painful. Are they intentionally abusing me?" The system's childish voice chimed in. "They probably are intentionally abusing you. After all, you're the villainous female supporting character, not a good person. They must hate you." Huo Xiang heard Su Lingyu's inner thoughts, and looked at Su Lingyu's thin clothing. A flicker of doubt rose in her heart. Could our Huo family really be abusing sister-in-law? I have no opinion, Fu Xiang said, sitting down shamefaced. Just then, Huo Yan suddenly said in a deep voice, "If the clothes are truly uncomfortable, I'll go to the army to apply for next month's allowance early. You can come with me." Su Lingyu blinked her beautiful eyes. "All right, let's go to the army first. Maybe I'll even run into the female lead, Zhou Wanru. I want to see what kind of person this Zhou Wanru is, secretly eyeing other people's husbands. And she even acts all wronged. How shameless. Watch me give her a little shock." A few minutes later, the car stopped in front of a 3-story office building. As Huo Yan got out, leaning on his crutches, a middle-aged man in military uniform rushed out of the office building with a surprised smile on his face. He laughed and playfully punched Huo Yan. "You finally decided to come to the army. I told the guard to keep an eye on your license plate number. As soon as you arrived, I'd catch you, afraid you'd run off." Huo Yan's stern face showed a rare smile. The two chatted for a few more sentences before the newcomer noticed Su Lingyu standing to the side. "Little sister-in-law is here today too," Su Lingyu nodded. She knew that this man was Huo Yan's regiment commander, and the other man was Xie Hongjun, the political commissar of the regiment. They had partnered for many years and had a very good relationship. In the latter half of the novel, Xie's 3 children even recognized Huo Yan as their godfather. The two families could be considered generational friends. However, the Xi family also became a foil for the Huo family, because the author wrote them to highlight how happy Zhou Wanru was. Zhou Wanru and Huo Yan were in perfect harmony. The relationship was excellent. Even if she didn't want children, Huo Yan indulged her and agreed. In the conservative 80s, they became a dink, double-income no-kids couple. Meanwhile, Xie Rongjun had 3 children. One was autistic and couldn't care for himself, one rebelled and ran away from home, and one ruined her life with excessive plastic surgery, leading to a miserable old age. Little system, don't you have a gossip function? Quickly see if there's any gossip about Xie Rongjun. Host, there is. He's too short, but he wants to show off his masculinity, so he puts 3 height-increasing insoles in his shoes during training. He's truly flexible in height. Forget it. I won't bother with Xie Rongjun. We're one a villainous female supporting character, and one an all-purpose cannon fodder. It'd be too funny if we started fighting each other. Xie Rongjun heard 2 voices in his ears and looked around in confusion, until he saw Huo Yan's eye signal. Then he calmed down again. However, Xie Rongjun is much more miserable than me. At most, I'll die in a few years. He still has a lifetime to endure. And even after he dies, he won't be able to rest easy. He'll have to worry about his children not doing well. But his children aren't beyond saving. As long as they're guided more while they're young, even if they don't become outstanding, they'll still be able to support themselves and start a family. The system seemed to disagree. The eldest son and youngest daughter can be saved, but the eldest son has autism. This is a recognized difficult disease worldwide. He's probably beyond saving, right? Su Lingyu chuckled softly. Some children aren't truly autistic. Maybe it's just a problem with their upbringing. Really, host? Then quickly tell me in detail. How can it be cured? Su Lingyu raised her hand and fanned herself, decisively refusing the request. I'm not going to say. The sun is so strong I'm getting dizzy. I just want to find a cool place to rest quickly. I don't want to rack my brains anymore. Seeing that she wouldn't speak at the crucial moment, Xie Rongjun immediately became anxious. His eyes constantly darted to Huo Yan for help. Huo Yan also wanted to help, but in this situation he couldn't reveal anything directly. Seeing Su Lingyu about to get back into the car, Xie Rongjun directly rushed to her, stopping her from getting in. Su Lingyu looked confused. What's going on? Is he going to attack me? I know I'm quite annoying, but there has to be a reason, right? Xie Rongjun was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan, desperately trying to adjust his facial expression, forcing out a smile to prove his goodwill. But Su Lingyu was startled and took a big step back. Holy moly! Is this a new type of attack? Scaring enemies to death with an ugly smile? This idea surpasses the top 10 tortures of the Qing dynasty. Xie Rongjun almost cried out, "Little sister-in-law, it's too hot outside. Do you want to go upstairs and have some tea and rest?" Su Lingyu deeply suspected he wanted to poison her tea to get rid of her, this scourge, for his good brother. No good deed goes unpunished, and a spontaneous show of goodwill hints at ulterior motives. Xie Rongjun felt the world collapse upon hearing this. Just as he was sweating profusely with anxiety, Huo Yan spoke up to rescue him. "Let's go upstairs and sit for a bit. I also need to submit an application report to get next month's allowance early." Su Lingyu's expression changed instantly. "Allowance means I can buy clothes. A huge sum of money is better than any warm greeting." As the three went upstairs, before Su Lingyu even entered the room, Xie Rongjun started calling for tea to be made. He then rushed to the electric fan, specifically adjusting the angle to blow air on Su Lingyu. Only after Su Lingyu was comfortably settled did he sigh in relief. Then, Xie Rongjun pulled Huo Yan into the meeting room. "Brother, you must help me with this. This concerns your eldest nephew's entire life. You can't just stand by and do nothing." Speaking of his eldest son, Xie Rongjun's eyes reddened. He's 5 or 6 years old and still can't speak. Sometimes he even bangs his head against the wall. "We took him to a big hospital, and the doctor told us it's autism, and he won't be able to live a normal life. My wife and I can still take care of little Wu while we're alive, but what if we die?" Huo Yan nodded seriously. "But this matter needs to be handled carefully. Su Lingyu doesn't know yet that others can read her thoughts. If we rashly bring this up, we won't be able to explain how we know she has this ability." Xie Rongjun was trustworthy, so Huo Yan didn't hide anything from him and told him about the inner thoughts. "That's easy then. Little sister-in-law clearly has a kind heart. Tonight I'll take Zibu to your house to visit, and then have your sister-in-law cry a few times to your little sister-in-law. Maybe she'll take pity on her and offer to cure Xie Wu. You shouldn't have too high expectations for him either. Don't misunderstand, little sister-in-law." Xie Rongjun instantly widened his eyes. "I'm telling you, there's a great doctor sleeping right next to you. Maybe she can even cure your leg. Why don't you plan more? I say you should treat little sister-in-law better, go along with everything she says. Even if she wants to ride on your head, you should treat her like an ancestor. And that Zhou Wanru at the military hospital, don't see her anymore." Huo Yan looked speechless. "I genuinely have no contact with Zhou Wanru. And before, when Su Lingyu came to the army to cause trouble, you were quite stern with her, weren't you? Why is your attitude reversed so quickly now? Just because she might cure your son. I can really bend and stretch when it comes to you. As long as little sister-in-law can cure little Wu, my family will be the first to worship her. If you don't treat little sister-in-law well, I'll be the first to object." In the office on the other side, Su Lingyu stood by the window, feeling the breeze. She inadvertently saw soldiers training on the parade ground. Because of the hot weather, they were all sweating profusely and simply took off their shirts, revealing their impressive, muscular physiques. Su Lingyu was instantly captivated. What a beautiful sight. But compared to them, Huo Yan's physique seems even better. But what's the use? He won't let me touch him. He's such an old-fashioned stick-in-the-mud. Huo Yan and Xie Rongjun walked into the office, just in time to hear this. Xie Rongjun looked incredulous. "Brother, you won't even let your wife touch your abs? Do you wrap your abs during your conjugal life?" Hearing the movement, Su Lingyu turned to look at them. "Is the application report ready?" She nodded in satisfaction. "Little sister-in-law, if you have nothing else to do, would you like to visit the military hospital? I'll personally drive you there." Su Lingyu immediately understood. "I can't believe this Xie Rongjun is actually an instigator. He's so eager to see me tear into Zhou Wanru. But I also want to see what this White Lotus looks like." A few minutes later, they arrived at the military hospital. However, the hospital covered a large area, so hoping to run into Zhou Wanru by chance was slim. Xie Rongjun immediately volunteered to inquire. Soon, Xie Rongjun returned with information. "I asked the nurse on duty. She said Zhou Wanru is on the 3rd floor of the inpatient department." Su Lingyu's lips curved upward. As she walked towards Zhou Wanru, she asked the system, "Do you have any gossip about Zhou Wanru? I'm curious whether she's white or black." As Su Lingyu approached, Zhou Wanru and head nurse Wang Hui, who were talking, were suddenly startled and simultaneously began to look around suspiciously. Finally, their gazes fell on Su Lingyu. Was that person talking just now? Huo Yan constantly monitored the reactions of those around him. As soon as he saw their expressions, he knew they could also hear Su Lingyu's inner thoughts. Host, this Zhou Wanru has so much gossip. Not only is she interested in Huo Yan, but she also has a childhood sweetheart back home, and they've been engaged for years. Even Wang Hui, next to her, who is the head nurse here, used to always protect Zhou Wanro whenever the original owner came to cause trouble. But what Wang Hui doesn't know is that her husband not only often secretly buys things for Zhou Wanru, but he even gave her their family heirloom gold bracelet. Haha, that's really too funny. Wang Hui's face showed shock, but she was a little disbelieving. However, when she turned to look at Zhou Wanru, she saw that her face was pale, showing signs of panic. She instantly understood. Wang Hui's heart burned with rage. She reached out, grabbed Zhou Wanru's hair, and slapped her several times. Zhou Wanru, I took care of you in every way usually. I can't believe you even seduced my man. Zhou Wanru's eyes reddened. Sister Wang, listen to me, it's not what you think. Seeing this situation, the surrounding nurses quickly separated the two. Sister Wang, you always protected Wanru. What's wrong today? Hearing this, Wang Hui became furious. She was about to reveal the secret she had heard from the mysterious voice when Jie Rongjun stopped her. Head Nurse Wanru, please come over here for a moment. I have something to tell you. It concerns military secrets, so please remain silent immediately. Jie Rongjun's face was serious. Wang Hui snorted coldly and stopped making a fuss, only nodding with a grim expression. Zhou Wanro covered her face, silently shedding tears, looking pitifully at Huo Yan, as if seeking refuge. Unfortunately, Huo Yan completely ignored her. She had no choice but to follow Xie Rongjun to an office. Su Lingyu was a little surprised. She hadn't even started causing trouble yet, and her target was already gone. Little system, what do you think Xie Rongjun took those two to do? I don't know. I can only see gossip. I can't read minds. Huo Yan heard Su Lingyu's inner thoughts. His expression unconsciously became alert until he heard the system say it couldn't speak. Then he relaxed. Now that Zhou Wanru has run off, waiting for Xie Rongjun is boring. System, do you have any more gossip? Yes, this Zhou Wanru is truly amazing. Not only did she seduce Wang Hui's husband, but she also has frequent contact with a young man who works at the bus company. The young man in the hospital cafeteria is also a suitor of Zhou Wanrao's and often brings her meals, but Zhou Wanrao introduces him to others as her brother. Su Lingyu listened with great relish. She truly lives up to her title as the female lead. She could clearly just snatch things, but she's still willing to call them brothers. Right, then does Zhou Wanru usually call Huo Yan brother too? I wonder if it's brother Huo, or brother Yan, or brother Huo Yan. Su Lingyu thought more and more, wanting to laugh. Huo Yan, who was beside her, tried hard to remain calm, but his ears subtly reddened. But all of this had nothing to do with Zhou Wanro. It was only because that brother Huo Yan came from a certain person's mouth. Just as Su Lingyu and the system were chatting happily, a young girl in a nurse's uniform walked up to them, staring at her with unfriendly eyes. Su Lingyu, was it you who caused trouble behind the scenes just now when Wanru was called away by Political Commissar Z? And were you instigating when she and head nurse Wang suddenly started fighting? Su Lingyu looked at the girl in confusion. Who are you? Su Lingyu, what are you pretending to be stupid for? You've come to our hospital to cause trouble 3 or 4 times already. I'm Wanru's best friend. You wouldn't know who I am? Su Lingyu asked the system for her name. Oh, I know now. Your name is Sun Yu, and you're Zhu Wanru's best friend. Sun Yu proudly affirmed. That's right. My relationship with Wanru is the best in the entire hospital. So I absolutely cannot stand by and watch you bully her. Su Lingyu nodded understandingly. Since you can't stand by and watch, then just close your eyes. A burst of laughter erupted from the surrounding crowd. Sun Yu stomped her foot in anger, yelling at the crowd, What are you laughing at? Then she turned back to Su Lingyu, furiously saying, You're just taking advantage of Wanru's good nature. That's why you dare to bully her so recklessly. If you hadn't married Commander Huo first, this position of Mrs. Huo would never have been yours. Wanru is beautiful and has a good personality. You're simply no match for her. Su Lingyu's gaze held a hint of satisfaction. It's truly wonderful that you think that way, because your boyfriend thinks the same. Sun Yu was stunned. Why is this suddenly about my boyfriend? Su Lingyu chuckled softly. Your boyfriend is that young man who serves food in the hospital cafeteria, right? Do you know he's been pursuing Zhu Wanru for almost 3 months? What he gives you are chicken carcasses with all the meat picked off, and he calls it specially made braised food for you. But he gives Zhu Wanru a whole bowl of chicken soup. He tells you to eat less pig's trotters, saying he's afraid you'll get fat, but he keeps urging Zhu Wanru to eat more, saying her thighs are even thinner than your arms. Last night, Zhu Wanru just held his hand for a bit, and he got so excited that he decided to break up with you. You might even run into him if you go downstairs now. Sun Yu was utterly shocked. Before she could go downstairs, a short, stout man walked towards her, his face flushed, waving at her. Xiao Yu, come with me for a moment. I have something very important to tell you. An ominous feeling rose in Sun Yu's heart. She glared fiercely at Su Lingyu, then pulled the short, stout man towards the staircase. Soon, Sun Yu's angry roar came from the stairwell. The iron stair railing clanged loudly, and quickly the man's miserable screams followed. So fierce? Su Lingyu's smile faded, cold sweat trickling down her forehead. Little system, why do I feel like being the villainous female supporting character is a bit unsafe? Should I practice some sanda and long-distance running? Host, practicing sanda is enough. Why do you need to practice long-distance running? Of course, if I can't beat them, I run. If I can beat them, then I chase and beat them. Isn't that killing two birds with one stone? Su Lingyu chuckled darkly. The system and Huo Yan simultaneously fell silent. Very good. Very fitting for your villainous character's thoughts. More than 10 minutes later, Jie Rongjun returned with Zhou Wanru and Wang Hui. At the same time, Sun Yu's one-sided beating of her ex-boyfriend also ended. As soon as Sun Yu returned, she ran into Zhou Wanrao and was instantly enraged again, swinging her fists and pouncing towards Zhou Wanrao. Su Lingyu quietly moved closer to Huo Yan, finally hiding directly behind his wheelchair. It seems that Huo Yan's leg still being intact is very necessary. Host, you're not getting sympathetic towards Huo Yan, are you? That doesn't fit our villainous persona. No, I'm just thinking that if something happens to me one day, the stronger Huo Yan's combat power, the higher my safety will be, right? Even if he can't beat them, when others threaten to break your leg, it's still an extra option, isn't it? Besides, he's a man, they'll definitely target him first. The system and Huo Yan fell silent again. Jie Rongjun saw the two leaning close together and couldn't help but chuckle. You two are too affectionate. Don't you feel hot, leaning like that? Su Lingyu was already startled, and now she was teased by Jie Rongjun. So she retorted with a sullen face, What if it's hot? Am I not using air conditioning because I don't want to? Are you not ascending to heaven because you're fat? Jie Rongjun was instantly speechless. Huo Yan pinched his brows, speaking up in time. Didn't you want to go to the supply and marketing cooperative to buy clothes? Let's go now. Although Su Lingyu really wanted to buy clothes, when she heard that the army was holding a military competition, she immediately became interested. Huo Yan also didn't object. He also wanted to see the soldiers in his regiment. When getting out of the car, Huo Yan didn't refuse the wheelchair pushed in front of him by a soldier, and he calmly sat on it. Jie Rongjun patted his shoulder, sighing inwardly. Huo Yan was still a regiment commander, but if his leg couldn't be cured, he was afraid it would be difficult for him to continue in this position. Just then, Su Lingyu's inner thoughts sounded again. Little system, do you think I should find a way to perform a demonstration and help Huo Yan heal his leg? Almost simultaneously, Huo Yan and Jie Rongjun's breathing paused. Both appeared calm on the surface, but in reality, all their attention was focused on Su Lingyu. Host, you're a villainous female supporting character. If you cure Huo Yan, how will you still dislike him later? That is indeed a problem. Su Lingyu pondered for a moment, then suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Then how about I cure Huo Yan's left leg, and then break his third leg? The system gave her a thumbs up. Host, you're truly wicked and clever, Su Lingyu smirked. That's right! Huo Yan values his purity so much. If I break his third leg and then mock him every day for not being a man, I'll definitely complete my daily tasks easily. Huo Yan tried hard to remain calm, but his hand unconsciously pinched his brow. Just then, a battalion commander from the training ground walked over, looking at Huo Yan with intimate eyes. Oh, what wind blew our Commander Huo over today? Could it be to apply for retirement? Jie Rongjun's face darkened. Shofeng, watch your words. Hearing that name, a hint of surprise crossed Su Lingyu's eyes. Little system, who is this Zhou Feng? Does he have a grudge against Huoyan? What's that sound? Several soldiers who had gathered around looked left and right, their gazes finally landing on the only female present, Su Lingyu. But due to their military vigilance, they didn't act rashly, but silently observed. The two of them do have a grudge. The reason is, Zhu Fang fell in love with a girl from the cultural troupe, but that girl liked Huoyan. Then Zhou Feng fell for a young nurse at the military hospital, but that girl was also secretly in love with Huoyan. Finally, Zhou Feng fell for a man, and that person, Su Lingyu was surprised. Could it be that he still likes Huoyan? And when the few soldiers who heard Su Lingyu's inner thoughts, their pupils instantly dilated. Such an obvious reaction immediately allowed Xie Rangjun to accurately lock onto his target. The reason he had been following Huoyan today was to cooperate with Huoyan's actions, secretly tallying the people who could hear Su Lingyu's inner thoughts, and then silencing them. Then he approvingly patted Huoyan's shoulder. "This is all your credit." Huoyan's face turned cold and he said, "Get lost." Zhu Fang couldn't hear Su Lingyu's inner thoughts, but seeing several people suddenly stop talking and inexplicably staring at him, he instinctively thought Huoyan was talking about him. Anger immediately flared up. "Huoyan, you dare tell me to get lost? Don't tell me you think you're still that promising regiment commander. Now, with a lame leg, you're just a cripple." Is this Zhou Fang's role to just provoke Huoyan? That's right. This Zhou Feng is a handsome supporting male character in the novel, and he even has a romantic subplot with Zhou Wanru. One time, Zhou Wanru was being harassed, and Zhou Feng came out as a hero to save her. That's how they met. Because they had similar hobbies, they often met for tea, which would infuriate Huoyan. Every time Zhou Feng and Zhou Wanru met, Huoyan would go crazy. Su Lingyu was enjoying the gossip when a sudden angry roar interrupted her gossip spree. She looked around, her gaze finally landing on Huoyan. At this moment, Huoyan was filled with rage. "Since you say I got the regiment commander position through connections, why don't we have a proper competition? Although I can't run a 400-meter obstacle course with a lame leg, we can still compete in 50-meter rifle shooting." Zhu Fang was stunned for a moment. Before, no matter how he provoked Huoyan would simply ignore him. Why was he reacting so strongly today? But this seemed like a good opportunity. Zhou Feng's mind raced. Although Huoyan had been the top sharpshooter for 5 consecutive years, he had been severely injured half a year ago and must not have trained for a long time during his recovery, let alone touched a gun. Maybe this time I'll have a chance to win against him. Thinking of this, Zhou Feng inwardly agreed. Let's compete! Whoever dares not is a wimp. The overall atmosphere of the army was martial, so upon hearing that Huoyan and Zhu Feng wanted to compete in shooting, someone immediately set up a shooting range for them. Su Lingyu was completely drawn out of her gossip excitement and curiously looked at the two not far away. After Huoyan arrived at the shooting point, he gripped the wheelchair armrest, supported his body with both arms, and took a difficult but not clumsy step forward. Then, he knelt on one knee and lay prone in the grass, holding his pistol against his shoulder. As the soldier, acting as referee, gave the command, Huoyan's sharp phoenix eyes instantly narrowed, and his aura steadily rose, like a fierce beast locking onto its prey in the forest. He pulled the trigger without hesitation. Bang, bang, bang! 5 bullets were instantly fired. Zhou Feng, who was a few meters away, was sweating profusely, still aiming at the target. His state was completely different from Huoyan's confident and calm demeanor. He didn't finish firing all 5 bullets until time was almost up. Quote, "Match over!" Someone immediately jogged over to check the targets. In the end, Huoyan crushed Zhu Feng with a score of 55 rings. And why could Huoyan get such an excellent score of 55 rings with 5 bullets? That had to be attributed to Zhu Feng, that good comrade, whose bullets actually flew onto Huoyan's target, adding 5 rings to his perfect score. And he still has the nerve to challenge Commander Huo? I don't know if it's confidence or arrogance. Listening to the whispers of the people around him, Zhou Feng's face was grim, and he was very unconvinced. There are 3 shooting stances for rifle shooting. Just now, it was only prone shooting. We still haven't competed in kneeling and standing stances. Our competition isn't over yet. However, as soon as he said this, it immediately attracted countless disapproving glances. Commander Huo is definitely not bad at prone and kneeling stances, but Commander Huo's leg is lame. He can't even maintain his balance in the standing position. Zhou Fang? How can you even say that? Zhou Fang was so angry he almost vomited blood. He wanted to retort, but he didn't know how to speak. Wu Yan no longer bothered with Zhou Fang, as if he were thin air. He turned his head and left with Xie Rongjun. This kind of disdain was lighter than anger at the end of the world. Zhou Fang's inner self also began to gradually distort, and his hatred for Huo Yan continuously escalated. Su Lingyu was also speechless. No way would that kind of character Zhou Wenrao would still be interested in him. She's really not picky at all. As soon as they got back in the car, the system suddenly spoke excitedly. "Host, I've found some more information. This Zhou Fang has even bigger secrets. He'll definitely shatter the female lead's worldview." Huo Yan and Ji Rongjun immediately moved a little closer to Su Lingyu, because to hear Su Lingyu's inner thoughts clearly, they needed to be within a certain distance of her. Conversely, if they moved too far away from Su Lingyu, they wouldn't be able to hear her thoughts. Su Lingyu enthusiastically perked up her ears. "What big secret? Quickly tell me!" Due to Zhou Fang and Zhou Wanru's affair later, Huo Yan investigated Zhou Fang. Huo Yan originally wanted to get revenge on his love rival, but by coincidence, he found out that Zhou Fang had already been recruited by an enemy country and had sold a lot of important intelligence. Huo Yan took the collected evidence and directly sent Zhou Fang to prison. So this Zhou Fang is a traitor? Is he clean now, or has he already defected to the enemy country? He's already been recruited. In 3 days, he will hand over important information to the enemy country, leading to the unfortunate deaths of dozens of China's top scientists. The military also suffered over 3,000 casualties. It was a massive loss. If it weren't for that, Zhou Fang wouldn't have been directly sentenced to death. Su Lingyu bit her lip hesitantly. Then what can I do? Should I remind Huo Yan to investigate this Zhou Fang? Why would you help him? You're a villainous female supporting character, not a good person. You don't need to worry about these things. Su Lingyu nodded, but her mood clearly darkened. From an angle she couldn't see, Huo Yan and Xie Rongjun exchanged a serious glance in the rearview mirror. Then Huo Yan told the guard to stop the car, looking at Su Lingyu with a hint of guilt. "I suddenly remembered there are some matters to deal with at the army. I'm afraid I can't accompany you to buy clothes today. Can you go to the Supply and Marketing Cooperative by yourself first? Once I'm done, I'll take you to the foreign trade store to look again." After hearing the system's description, Su Lingyu instantly lost interest. Forget it. What good stuff could there be in the Supply and Marketing Cooperative? I don't want to go. As the car started, Su Lingyu rested her fair wrist on the car window, watching Huo Yan and Xie Rongjun's retreating figures in the rearview mirror. Sighing in irritation, she then gently straightened her body, her slender waist held erect. Since I'm uncomfortable, no one else should expect to be comfortable either. Meanwhile, Huo Yan suddenly felt something. He turned his head to look in the direction the car was driving away and saw Su Lingyu's delicate eyebrows slightly furrowed, looking rather unhappy. Is it because I didn't accompany her to the Supply and Marketing Cooperative? Is she displeased? As this thought flashed through Huo Yan's mind, he saw Su Lingyu straighten her slender waist and say something to Zhao Ke, who was driving. Then, the car suddenly made a U-turn and sped back. Soon, the car pulled up in front of Huo Yan and Xie Rongjun, stopping with a sharp brake about a meter away from them. Su Lingyu looked at the two with an angry face. "Huo Yan, even a mere battalion commander can ride roughshod over you. You're such a useless regiment commander that even I feel ashamed. What's the point of winning the 50-meter shooting against him? It only counts if you get him kicked out of the army. I suggest you investigate Zhou Fang. Maybe you'll find some damning evidence that will allow you to legitimately get rid of him. I can tell at a glance he's not a good person. You'll definitely find something if you investigate." Huo Yan didn't speak, just looked at Su Lingyu with a smile. "Huo Yan, are you mute? I'm talking to you. Do you have no ears or no mouth?" Su Lingyu twisted her delicate brows, angrily saying, "If you don't investigate Zhou Fang, you're not a man. I'll call you a turtle bastard every day and mock you every day." Huo Yan smiled and nodded. "Understood." Su Lingyu snorted lightly, finally satisfied. "Consider yourself sensible." Then she complained, "It's boiling hot! Zhao Ke, close the car window and let's go." Su Lingyu casually checked her daily task progress and found that today's progress bar was full. Her mood became even more relaxed, and her inner thoughts carried a hint of contentment. Finally, I can go home and rest. The system also cheered and applauded. Host, you're amazing. Scolding Huoyan like that in public, making him lose face in front of his comrades, severely damaged his self-esteem. He'll definitely hate you more and more from now on. That's right. Quickly help me see Huoyan. What's his expression now? Is he gritting his teeth? Does he look like he'll chop my head off like a watermelon in the middle of the night? He's expressionless now. It seems he's burying his pain deep inside, but he doesn't look like he'll attack you in the night. Su Lingyu snorted softly. Sleeping in the same bed every day and not attacking me, this Huoyan is indeed not a man. Host, the attack you're talking about and the attack I'm talking about aren't the same, are they? After the car drove away, Huoyan raised his hand and pinched his brow. No time to lose. We need to report to the division commander as soon as possible. Xie Rongjun nodded. I'll immediately contact someone to prepare the car. While Huoyan was racing against time, Su Lingyu had already returned home. As soon as she entered the door, Huoyan's mother, Chen Yuxiang, greeted her with an unprecedentedly kind attitude. Lingyu, you're back. She then loudly called out, Aunt Zhang, bring some herbal tea to cool Lingyu down. Su Lingyu was pulled to sit on the leather sofa, drinking the herbal tea while complaining inwardly, why is my mother-in-law so abnormal today? Although she's a kind person, weren't the Huo family always dissatisfied with the original owner? Their relationship wasn't that good, was it? The system was also confused. Yes, but now it seems they're quite satisfied with you. Su Lingyu seemed to think of something and couldn't help but smile. If I complain to my mother-in-law that Huoyan hasn't consummated our marriage after so long and hasn't even touched me, will she stand up for me? If she really listens to my crying and goes to reprimand Huoyan, with his stubborn personality, he'd probably be furious to death. But on second thought, forget it. I'm too lazy to play these kindergarten-level tattletale games. Hearing Su Lingyu's inner thoughts, Chen Yuxiang's teacup almost dropped to the ground. The smile on her face froze in surprise. That little bastard Huoyan brought her back and treats her like this? It seems when he comes back I really need to give him a good talking to. At this moment, Huoyan, who was reporting to the division commander, suddenly sneezed in the middle of his speech. After Su Lingyu finished her herbal tea, Chen Yuxiang smiled and took her hand, leading her to the large wardrobe in her room. Huoyan just called me and said he was busy and couldn't accompany you to the supply and marketing cooperative to buy clothes. I originally wanted to accompany you this afternoon, but then I remembered I have a few new cheongsams that I've made but never worn. The fabric is much better than what's at the supply and marketing cooperative. If you like them, you can wear them. Su Lingyu was a little surprised. Huoyan actually called home specifically? Could it be that he likes being abused? I just scolded him fiercely not long ago. However, these cheongsams are all summer wear. When the weather gets colder, I'll take you to make a few sets for autumn and winter. Saying this, she opened the large wardrobe made of Manhwa wood and took out several cheongsams. They were all elegant, simple, and full of charm in their design, with smooth, textured fabric. They instantly caught Su Lingyu's eye. Before transmigrating, she was also raised in a wealthy family, so she knew good quality. She recognized at a glance that these cheongsams were custom-made, and even in later generations, it would be hard to find a skilled tailor even with money. Although she was very tempted, she still refused. Mom, I don't need them. You keep them for yourself. Chen Yuxiang's face lit up with a smile at her, calling her Mom. These were all made when I was young. I didn't bear to wear them then, and now that I'm old, I can't wear them anymore. They're just right for you. Chen Yuxiang directly put the clothes into Su Lingyu's arms. All right, stop being so wishy-washy, just take them when I tell you to. Su Lingyu carried the cheongsams back to her room and stood in front of the dressing mirror, trying them on one by one. A genuine smile, the first in days, appeared on her face. Note: video made for Ace Man WSS channel user at Ace Manhwa. If it is any other channel, it is stolen. At lunch, Su Lingyu specifically chose her favorite cheongsam to wear. It was completely different from the clothes that had chafed her skin red before. This cheongsam was not only very well-fitting, but the fabric was also comfortable. soft, flowing, and breathable. When she was comfortable, her mood naturally improved a lot. Hearing footsteps, Huo Xiang looked up, and her eyes instantly lit up. The woman slowly descending the stairs had blood-red lips and a graceful, curvaceous figure classically refined, like a beauty stepping out of a painting. Huo Xiang stared with wide eyes, as if her soul had been sucked out. Su Lingyu lightly glanced at her. "What's wrong? Quickly wipe your drool. It's almost flowing all over the floor." Huo Xiang blushed and lowered her head, covering her face. "This is too embarrassing. I was actually stunned by sister-in-law's beauty. My brother's diet is too good." Then she stammered, "Sister-in-law, come quickly and eat. Today we specifically made your favorite bamboo shoot chicken soup." Su Lingyu gracefully sat down, somewhat accepting of her attentiveness. "But I don't like bamboo shoot chicken soup anymore. From now on, make me some spicy dishes." Her taste was different from the original owner's. The original owner liked bland food, while she only liked fresh, fragrant, numbing, and spicy food. All right, Huo Xiang quickly agreed and thoughtfully moved a bowl of husband and wife lung slices in front of her. Su Lingyu gave her an approving look. So sensible. After eating, Su Lingyu prepared for her afternoon nap. When Huo Yan returned in the afternoon, Huo Lang immediately pulled him into their father's study. "Big brother, how did Division Commander Wang respond? Will they take action to arrest Zhou Fang?" Although Division Commander Wang is skeptical about this matter, he fully trusts me and Xie Rongjun. Because there's no concrete evidence, we can't arrest him immediately. The higher-ups plan to focus on covert investigations first. Once we have evidence of Zhou Fang's collusion with the enemy and treason, then we'll arrest him. We'll play a long game to catch a big fish, hopefully catching everyone behind him in one swoop. That's good, Huo Jianguo nodded in satisfaction. If this matter is true, your wife has truly rendered a great service. What's the higher-ups' attitude towards your wife? Not yet. They'll probably observe the situation first. But I estimate that after Zhu Feng's matter is resolved, the higher-ups might contact us immediately. Based on the existing information, Su Lingyu's value is too great. The country definitely won't let such a treasure mountain lie idle. Then what did you discover when you took your wife to the army today? There are roughly a few discoveries. First, not everyone can hear her inner thoughts, but who can and who can't, and what causes it, hasn't been summarized yet. Second, her medical skills are superb. She even has knowledge of autism. Third, although her personality is pampered, her heart is kind. After Huo Yan finished speaking, Chen Yushang immediately said, "For various reasons, the national level definitely can't openly reward Lingyu, but we cannot treat her unfairly. Not only materially, but we must treat her better in other aspects, especially you, Huo Yan." Huo Yan was suddenly called out and met Chen Yuxiang's murderous gaze. Huo Yan didn't know why, but he had a bad feeling. After finishing the serious business, Chen Yuxiang shooed everyone else out, leaving only Huo Yan. Second, although you and Lingyu were forced to marry, since you've already brought a wife home, you should treat her better, right? Why haven't you even consummated the marriage with her yet? Huo Yan's handsome face quickly flushed, and his ears began to burn hot. The two siblings, who were eavesdropping at the door, almost simultaneously gasped in surprise. Then they both clamped their hands over their mouths. "We're doomed now! We're definitely going to be punished later!" Sister-in-law should be done with her nap by now. Let's quickly go find her to save us. Just then, the door creaked open, and Huo Yan's cold, grim face appeared behind it, like a king of hell. Huo Lang and Huo Xiang immediately scurried away, clutching their heads, running wildly towards Su Lingyu's bedroom. The bedroom door was pounded loudly, and Su Lingyu, who had only been asleep for a few minutes, was forced awake. The anger in her heart instantly flared up. She glared at Huo Lang and Huo Xiang with fiery eyes, her arms crossed, as if she wouldn't let them off easily unless they gave her an acceptable reason. Why do I feel like sister-in-law isn't much safer than big brother? Huo Xiang bravely and tearfully approached. Sister-in-law, big brother wants to beat us. Can you please help persuade him? Su Lingyu, instead of being angry, retorted, "Are we very close? What gave you the illusion that I would save you? I'm happy enough just watching you get beaten." System, quickly find me some of the most difficult questions. The thicker the better. I want to give them to these two little fools to do, so they won't dare to cause trouble again. Upon hearing this, Huo Lang and Huo Xiang were struck by lightning. "No way! Not only do we not get protection, but we're also going to have infinitely more homework. Su Lingyu didn't even look at their pleading eyes, elegantly turned around, and slammed the door shut. I'm so sleepy. I worried all afternoon about whether Huo Yan would investigate Zhou Feng, and I finally fell asleep, only to be woken up by those two little rascals. I'm so angry. What if Huo Yan just brushes me off? Am I really going to just stand by and watch dozens of scientists and thousands of soldiers die because of this? Host, you've been thinking about this all morning, so you need to reflect. It's because you didn't give me an answer, that's why I kept thinking. Actually, Host, you're a villainous female supporting character. You don't need to worry about these things at all. Meanwhile, the two siblings outside the room, seeing the feather duster in Chen Yusheng's hand, looked terrified, their bodies almost pressed against Su Lingyu's bedroom door. The reason Chen Yusheng hadn't acted yet was purely because she was listening intently to Su Lingyu's inner thoughts, and didn't want to be distracted. Now that Su Lingyu's inner thoughts had paused, Chen Yuxiang chuckled, rolled up her sleeves, and prepared to give her disobedient children a bamboo shoot stir-fried meat meal. Unexpectedly, Su Lingyu's inner thoughts suddenly sounded again. Has Huo Yan returned? Those two little fools just cried and said Huo Yan was going to beat them. I almost didn't react. They're really silly. Huo Yan is so protective of his chastity, afraid that the host will defile him, so how could he obediently listen to the host? Su Lingyu couldn't help but smile. That's right. A man's chastity is their best dowry. Huo Yan has done very well in this regard. He's lived for over 20 years, and hasn't even used his hand. He's very pure. He truly lives up to his title as the male lead. The Huo family, who were eavesdropping outside the door, were all embarrassed. Chen Yuxiang also awkwardly pretended. I wonder if those chickens in the backyard have laid any eggs. I'll go check. Huo Shang immediately followed. Mom! Leave the egg collecting to me! The mother and daughter, who were just yelling and fighting, were now walking hand in hand intimately. Only Huo Lang couldn't resist his curiosity and leaned into Huo Yan's darkened face, asking, Brother, no way. You really haven't even used your hand? He not only wanted to watch the show, but even wanted to impart his experience. Huo Yan's phoenix eyes instantly darkened. He clenched his fist and directly punched him. In the room, Su Lingyu, hearing the sound, sat up from the bed and opened the door. She immediately saw Huo Lang sprawled on the floor and understood everything. It seemed some people couldn't escape their destined fate. After all, Huo Lang and Huo Xiang came to beg me earlier. Shouldn't I say something? Otherwise, those screams are truly unbearable. Huo Lang, lying on the ground, instantly had a realization. I'll take this beating for now. Sister-in-law is so kind, she'll definitely persuade brother to be nicer to them in the future and go easy on them. Then he heard Su Lingyu say, manage your younger siblings. Tell them to bother me less in the future. Also, stay far away from me when I'm disciplining them. Their wailing is quite scary. If I don't hear their screams, I won't feel so bad. Haha, I'm so clever. After Su Lingyu entered the room, Huo Yan followed her in. Huo Yan had worked up several sweats outside, and being someone who valued cleanliness, he decided to take a cool shower. However, as soon as he took off his upper garment, he keenly felt a gaze suddenly fall on him from behind. His smooth undressing motion instantly froze. The hand pulling at the hem of his vest stopped in midair. But then he subconsciously recalled what his mother, Chen Yuxiang, had said to him earlier in the study. What, is your body made of gold? Will a piece of meat fall off if you touch it? I don't care what you think. Your wife is home now, and she's such a good person. You can't let her be a widow. You better perform well tonight. Just then, Su Lingyu's sweet and soft inner thoughts sounded again. Drag it out. Why not keep dragging it out? Is he waiting for me to help? The joy of a top sugar daddy is here! Su Lingyu tiptoed and stealthily walked towards Huo Yan. Hearing the woman's approaching footsteps, Huo Yan's Adam's apple bobbed up and down erratically for a moment, and his heart rate steadily climbed. 1 step, 2 steps. The person behind him drew closer, lightly stepping. A wisp of warm fragrance wafted over. A woman's slender, delicate fingers appeared in Huo Yan's field of vision, seemingly targeting his earlobe, which instantly turned crimson. His usually calm and shrewd mind seemed to have snapped, and his body was taken over by a self-protective instinct. He clamped down on that fair wrist like lightning, raising his hand to throw the person far away. But at the critical moment, his mind suddenly reacted. His heart fiercely skipped a beat, and he frantically pulled the person back. Between Su Lingyu's push and pull, she felt a dizzying swirl. After her calf bumped against the wheelchair armrest, she lost her balance and tumbled into the man's arms, looking up in surprise. The man's deep, restrained eyes met hers. Her hands rested on his broad, sturdy chest, and she sat on his muscular legs, practically half embraced by him. They were so close that she could clearly feel the intense heat emanating from the man's body, warm and radiating, like a volcano about to erupt. His clothes carried a faint scent of mint laundry detergent. Perhaps it was due to sweat, but there was also a slight scent of sweat on him, which wasn't off-putting. The strong male hormones wafted over, paradoxically accelerating her heartbeat. Speaking of heartbeats, the man's heartbeat was strong and powerful, like rapid drum beats, tapping against her palm, silently revealing his current nervousness and helplessness. Su Lingyu was initially a little flustered, but Huo Yan was even more flustered than her, which immediately put her at ease. Her beautiful eyes curved, and she poked his chest with her finger, her tone teasing. "Commander Huo, your heartbeat seems a little fast." Huo Yan's Adam's apple bobbed. He awkwardly looked away, and his magnetic voice said, "You can get up now." "So you pinched my wrist twice today, and that's it?" Su Lingyu countered. Huo Yan lowered his gaze and asked, "What do you want?" "If you give me a good kiss, I'll let bygones be bygones. How about it?" Su Lingyu smiled sweetly. "No way! If I don't agree." "Aren't you afraid I'll get angry?" Su Lingyu glared with her captivating eyes and snorted. Huo Yan, that mischievous smile on some people's faces, shouldn't be too obvious. She was clearly just teasing and provoking. Perhaps if he really agreed, she would immediately righteously say, "Your mind is too dirty," making him die of shame. Huo Yan took a deep breath, and his strong, powerful arms lifted the person in his embrace, flinging her forward. The next moment, Su Lingyu's body went airborne, landing softly on the bed a second later. "Huo Yan!" She incredulously propped herself up, her alluring eyes wide with anger, clenching her fists and pounding the bed. "It's one thing not to let me kiss you, but you actually threw me. You were clearly aroused. I could feel it." Huo Yan's earlobe flushed. He suddenly spoke. "Su Lingyu." "Huh?" Su Lingyu was first startled, then grew even angrier. "You threw me, and then you scold me." Huo Yan had never experienced such a crisis in his life. Even with his extensive battle experience, he found it hard to contend with this. Turning his wheelchair, he quickly dashed towards the door. As the door opened, Huo Lang, who had been lying on the floor outside, eavesdropping, hadn't escaped in time. He was struck by lightning, meeting Huo Yan's seemingly calm but inwardly turbulent dark eyes. His heart gave a violent leap, and he slowly forced out a stiff, fake smile. "Hey, brother!" Huo Yan's phoenix eyes were chillingly cold. He suppressed the anger in his heart. "Huo Lang, you're done for. This time you're really done for. Big brother might beat him to death." At dinner, Su Lingyu grumbled as she sat at the dining table, treating Huo Yan next to her as if he were air. Perhaps it was because she had told Huo Xiang her taste preferences at noon, but the table now had an extra dish of cold shredded rabbit, a plate of stir-fried pork with green peppers, and even a large basin of refreshing cold noodles and cold skin noodles. The springy noodles and the cold skin noodles, stained white with sauce, were topped with vibrant green cilantro and bright red chili oil, looking incredibly appetizing. The food looks good. My mood's a bit better. It's just that some people's faces are really affecting my appetite. What to do? Host, just block 'em out. Su Lingyu raised her hand to her forehead and slowly ate with a satisfied expression. "What happened to your face?" Huo Xiang poked Huo Lang's arm beside her, asking with curious concern. Huo Lang's handsome face was bruised and swollen, with a large bump under one eye and a split lip. He looked like he had been severely beaten, specifically targeted at his face. The strange thing was that no one else in the family seemed to notice, except for her. It was an accident, Huolong hissed, wincing as he moved his injured face. You eat your food. Huoxiang didn't believe he could fall and get injured like that. I feel like you were beaten. The person who hit you hit quite hard. What kind of grudge or resentment was that? 3 questions in a row. As she spoke, Huoxiang felt more and more sorry for her second brother and grew angrier. She suddenly stood up. No, this can't just be brushed aside. Even if we don't fight back, we need to demand an explanation. Big brother is so strict with us, he wouldn't hit us this hard. Huo Lang was almost in tears. He endured the pain and shouted, Grandma, just eat your food. Heh, eat and don't make trouble, Huo Zhangguo said. Huo Xiang sat down, full of confusion. She belatedly realized something was off, but what exactly was wrong? Just then, the system's childish voice chimed in. Host Huo Lang must have been beaten by the male lead, right? He deserved it. Hiding outside the door and eavesdropping on me and his brother flirting. It's a miracle his brother didn't beat him to death. System, that's really too much. I wouldn't even peek at the host and Huo Yan getting intimate. It didn't even get intimate. Speaking of which, I'm even more annoyed. That dog Huo Yan was clearly aroused, but he still... Su Lingyu. Huo Yan suddenly said seriously, What are you calling me for? Su Lingyu suddenly called out, glared at him angrily, her face flushed from holding it in. How dissatisfied are you with me? Can you change? As she continued looking at him, she noticed that everyone else's expressions were a bit strange. How to describe it? It was like when boys, girls, and parents watch TV together, and suddenly the male and female leads start kissing or rolling around in bed. That kind of fidgety, toe-curling embarrassment that could carve out the hanging gardens of Babylon. The Huo family wasn't normal today, they were strange. Drink soup! Huo Yan set a bowl of soup in front of her. Su Lingyu glared. Drinking soup is drinking soup. It feels like he's serving me my last meal. Huo Yan took a deep breath, helplessly pinching his brows. The other Huo family members bit their lips and pinched their thighs, each suppressing their laughter, afraid of spitting out their food. Chen Yuxiang was in a good mood. This was the so-called one thing conquers another. Perhaps soon she would have a chubby grandson to dote on. After eating, Su Lingyu walked around the courtyard for a while to aid digestion, then wanted to go back to her room, wash up, and go to bed. She hadn't napped at noon, and she couldn't miss her beauty sleep tonight. Unexpectedly, just as she stepped onto the stairs leading to the second floor, a familiar, surprised voice called out to her. Little sister-in-law! Su Lingyu turned her head. It was Xie Rongjun, bringing his wife and children. Xie Rongjun smiled broadly and enthusiastically waved at her, then motioned to his wife and children beside him. This is Commander Huo's wife. Quickly greet her. Xie Rongjun's wife, Zhao Mei, was a simple, kind woman. For some reason, she seemed a bit reserved. Xie Rongjun nudged her, and she finally called out, Little sister-in-law. Su Lingyu nodded and turned to go upstairs again. Little sister-in-law, Xie Rongjun called out to her again, his voice carrying a hint of urgency. Su Lingyu found it strange. They weren't familiar with this family. They wouldn't have come specifically to find her, would they? Even if they had, she didn't want to engage in pointless social interactions. She just wanted to lie down in bed, casually flip through a book or two, and turn off the lights to sleep. Su Lingyu didn't turn around, stopping and starting as she walked up to the second floor, just in time to meet Huo Yan, who was about to go downstairs. If it's convenient, Huo Yan suppressed the heat in his ears, trying to ask calmly, Can you come down with me to receive guests? You're asking me? You're asking me? Su Lingyu's beautiful, alluring eyes sparkled with amusement. She bent down and leaned close to him, asking with interest, Just saying please won't help. What benefits will you give me if I cooperate with you? As night fell, the lights in the Huo family courtyard lit up, and the incessant buzzing of cicadas filled the air. The ceiling fan in the living room was set to medium. On the coffee table were a plate of candies children loved and a fruit plate. The fruit plate contained locally grown muskmelons, cut into small, white, jade-like pieces, exuding a fragrant aroma. Su Lingyu used a silver pick to spear a piece of muskmelon. For a moment, she couldn't tell if the white melon was more delicate or if her hand was more flawlessly fair. After finishing the melon, she dabbed her lips with a handkerchief and leisurely looked at Xie Riyun, who hadn't spoken for a long time. "What exactly do you want from me? If you don't say it soon, I'm going upstairs. Something. Xie Rongjun nudged Zhao Mei, signaling her to speak. Zhao Mei's face turned beet red, and she stammered for a long time, unable to utter a single word, breaking out in a sweat. She frantically made eye contact, signaling Xie Rongjun to speak instead. "These two? It's not that I don't want to entertain guests with you. It's that they don't cherish the opportunity to spend time with me. And you can't go back on the conditions you promised earlier." Su Lingyu threw a remark at Huoyan and stood up, preparing to go upstairs. "Wait!" Xie Rongjun jumped up anxiously. He wanted to stall for time so that Su Lingyu would notice Xie Wu. Unable to do so, he just blurted out a random topic. Actually, your sister-in-law also wants to tidy herself up. Does she have any method?" "Well, you seem to have a knack for dressing up, so she wanted to come and learn from you." "Dress up?" Su Lingyu turned back, looking at Zhao Mei in confusion. Under her gaze, Zhao Mei's expression became even more constrained, her slightly darkened face turning crimson. She was clearly surprised, but still nodded bravely. This reaction clearly wasn't about dressing up. Su Lingyu grew curious, wanting to see what secrets this couple was hiding. "Dressing up isn't urgent. For you, adjusting your own state is the most important thing." She sat back down on the sofa, her beautiful, captivating eyes looking at Zhao Mei. "State?" Zhao Mei looked bewildered. Su Lingyu nodded. "I see your hands are very rough. You must have done a lot of housework, right? Your dark circles are also very heavy. You probably don't get enough rest, do you?" "That's right." Zhao Mei nodded with a smile. "With 3 children at home and endless housework, I only go to sleep at midnight every day, and I have to start working again early in the morning. Breakfast for the whole family isn't enough sleep. Especially our little Wu, he can't be left alone. We have to keep an eye on him during the day, too." As soon as she found an opportunity, driven by her maternal love, Zhao Mei pushed Xie Wu in front of Su Lingyu. "Zhao Wu, greet Auntie Su." 5- or 6-year-old Xie Wu was wearing clean, old clothes, looking only about 4 years old. He was fair-skinned but short and thin, seemingly a bit malnourished. Zhao Mei told him to say hello, but he acted as if he hadn't heard. Facing Su Lingyu's scrutinizing gaze, he also seemed oblivious, his eyes blankly staring at his fingers, lost in his own world. Su Lingyu immediately noticed the child's abnormality. "Little system, is this the Xie family's eldest son, the child who was diagnosed with autism?" "Yes, host." "What will happen to him when he grows up?" "He'll have a miserable life. Before Xie Rongjun and his wife passed away, they could barely take care of him. He could eat and stay warm. But after they both passed away, he lived alone. All the valuable things in their house were cheated or stolen away, and their house was occupied by others. He became a homeless man, and eventually fell headfirst into a ditch, freezing to death in the bitter cold winter." Su Lingyu sighed. "That's truly tragic," she lamented to herself, not noticing Xie Rongjun's eyes reddening. He uncontrollably turned around and tightly clenched his fists, only then managing to control the immense sorrow in his heart. And Zhao Mei, hearing the inner thoughts for the first time, also looked incredulous, tears instantly welling up in her eyes. Su Lingyu snapped back to reality and saw Zhao Mei constantly wiping away tears. Why are you suddenly crying? What did he just say? Did saying his hands are rough and his dark circles are heavy hurt his self-esteem?" Zhao Mei choked back a sob. I just feel bad thinking about this child's future with no one to rely on. As soon as I think about what would happen if old Xie and I were gone, and this child was left alone in this world to suffer, I can't help but feel upset. It's okay if I suffer and am tired. It's okay if my hands are rough and I have dark circles. As long as my child is well. But I took him to the hospital, and the doctor said he has autism, that he is mentally retarded. As Zhao Mei cried, Xie Rongjun's emotions also became increasingly difficult to control, and he let out choked sobs. As a mother of 3 children herself, Chen Yuxiang understood Zhao Mei's pain even more, and her eyes reddened. Hu Xiang also couldn't help but secretly wipe away tears. For a moment, the atmosphere in the living room was heavy. Just then, Su Lingyu spoke. The doctor said he has autism, but you can't treat him as if he has autism. You still have to guide him as a normal child. What do you mean? Zhao Mei quickly wiped away her tears, looking at Su Lingyu with expectation. First, autism doesn't necessarily mean mental retardation. Some autistic people are geniuses, and they're exceptionally brilliant geniuses. It's just that the world they see is different from ours. They have rigid behaviors and difficulties in social interaction. Furthermore, your child might not necessarily have autism. It could be a misdiagnosis. Even if it is autism, early intervention and scientific guidance can cultivate his self-care abilities. Finally, how you see your child will determine how your child grows. Whether he has autism or not, if you believe he is a normal child, accompany him and guide him, and he will slowly grow into the person you imagine. Out of reflex, Su Lingyu spoke a lot in one breath. After she finished, sensing the surprised gazes on her, she belatedly felt a little worried. Oh no, I said so much, did I go overboard? The original owner didn't understand any of this, right? What if they ask me where I learned all this? How do I answer? Should I say I had a miraculous encounter when I was young and was guided by a white-bearded old man? The system was also worried. What a pity, although you, host, love medicine very much, it's not suitable to show off your expertise here. Oh yes, sister-in-law, you really know a lot. Huo Xiang suddenly chimed in, her eyes sparkling. Are good-looking people all this amazing? Chen Yuxiang also added, normally your dad always likes to buy books on medicine and health preservation, and I thought you didn't read them. I didn't expect you to be such a studious child. Huo Jiangguo clenched his fist and coughed. Don't get it wrong, the Su family's ancestors were doctors for generations. It's just that in recent years, the family abandoned medicine to join the army, and no doctors have come out of the family since. Little system, the villainous female supporting character's family actually has such a scholarly background in medicine? Is it because he's a tool, and there was no relevant information before, so I didn't know? Host, it seems to be a pleasant surprise for the Huo family. You're happy, that's all that matters. Since they learned that Su Lingyu's medical skills were excellent, but she hadn't openly practiced medicine, they had tried every possible method, even thinking of fabricating facts. They hadn't expected to actually find such a reasonable historical background when investigating the Su family's history. They seized the opportunity to quickly reveal it, not only to help the Xia family, but also hoping that Su Lingyu could help Huo Yan's leg later. As long as Su Lingyu could cure Huo Yan, they would even worship her. Big sister-in-law, then do you think my child still has hope? What should I do? Zhao Mao asked eagerly, her eyes full of expectation. How would I know? Su Lingyu frowned delicately and retorted coquettishly, the Su family's ancestors being doctors has nothing to do with me. I'm not interested in medicine, and I don't have time to bother with you all. Although I really like medicine, my task is to be the villainous female supporting character and upset everyone. I can't just suddenly shine brightly in the medical field, can I? However, if I have enough time to spend with the child, I can take him for some training. Do training? With Su Lingyu's words, Shi Rongjun and his wife exchanged glances, so excited they almost cried again. They already felt that this was enough. Much better than being able to do nothing now. As long as Su Lingyu had a hint of sympathy, it would definitely create opportunities for her to spend time with the child and seize the chance. They would be grateful to her for the rest of their lives. No matter what wicked tasks Su Lingyu had to do, they would cooperate. Zhao Mei, her eyes red, said, Big sister-in-law, let's visit each other more often. If you have any good ideas, please guide us with our Xiewu. I already said I don't have any good ideas, then just visit each other. Suit yourself. Su Lingyu snorted softly. This is the Huo family, not my house. If you want to come, I can't stop you. Yes, 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 Ji Rongjun and his wife felt half their worries lift, and their faces broke into broader smiles. They then brought up the previous topic. Big sister-in-law, how do you think I should adjust my state? Zhao Mei asked curiously. She also wanted to make herself better. Su Lingyu said, It's very simple. Be kinder to yourself and less kind to men. Zhao Mei's eyes were confused. Su Lingyu recalled Xie Rongjun's cold face this morning, curved her lips into a smile and teased. Let your husband do more housework, and you'll be less tired. Let him spend more time with the children, and you can go shopping. Let him quit smoking and drinking, and you can buy more pretty clothes. When you're relaxed, you'll naturally be in a good state. Zhao Mei slapped her thigh, her eyes filled with admiration. That's exactly it. There's a pillar in the family, a big strong man. Of course he should take the lead. When we get married, don't we also hope to be cherished? Yes, Zhao Mei nodded repeatedly. Not only her, but Shen Yusheng and Huo Shang also deeply resonated with this. Those with husbands secretly pinched their husbands' arms. Those not yet married fantasized about finding a kind man who would dote on them and be considerate. The men present suddenly felt a sense of crisis, especially Xie Rongjun. The pinch Zhao Mei gave him was quick and ruthless, making him gasp in pain, but unable to make a sound. Note of the editor: video made for Aceman WSS channel. In YouTube user at Aceman Was. If it is any other channel, it is stolen. However, when Su Lingyu mentioned that Xie Wu's situation also required his father's companionship, he puffed out his chest, looking full of energy. Zhao Mei, still wanting more, said, "Big sister-in-law, say a few more words." "There is nothing else," Su Lingyu slowly said. "All in all, to live a good life, one must always have a conscience. Once your conscience is gone, life gets even better." Zhao Mei, Xie Rongjun, and the Huo family. This statement was truly fresh and unique, with a beauty that disregarded the well-being of men. Suddenly, Huo Lang, who seemed to have forgotten himself, jumped out and asked indignantly, "Sister-in-law, aren't you advocating for Sister Zhao to rebel at home? Men work so hard outside. Wouldn't they be exhausted to death if they had to do housework and take care of children when they come home?" "Stop it! Your opinion isn't important." Su Lingyu raised her fair hand in disdain. "As if you could even get into a relationship. Huo Lang, that hurts. Why does it feel like my knee was shot with an arrow?" Not just Su Lingyu. He suddenly realized that all the women present were looking at him with unfriendly eyes, especially his own mother, who seemed ready to pull out the feather duster at any moment, trembling. "Look at this kind of scoundrel. They have it too easy, don't they? In our time, none of them would get wives." The system agreed. "Yes, if you really encounter a scoundrel who doesn't cherish his wife, just kick him out and find a young, strong, handsome man with broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and an 8-pack. "Isn't that better than an old cucumber?" the system asked, curiously. "Host, is Huo Yan also an old cucumber?" "Huo Yan?" Su Lingyu's alluring eyes curved slightly, and she bit her red lip, laughing heartily in her mind. "Ha ha ha, how could he be an old cucumber? Don't let his age fool you. He's a pure little cucumber who saved himself for the female lead, hasn't even used his hand." "Little cucumber?" The word little made Huo Lang burst out laughing. Meeting Su Lingyu's surprised gaze and Huo Yan's cold, murderous stare, his face started hurting again. He quickly clamped down on his thigh, not daring to laugh anymore. Xie Rongjun, meanwhile, casually glanced at Huo Yan's lower half, then deliberately cleared his throat. He hadn't known that his good brother hadn't even used his hand. "Is he really that pure?" Just then, the system's tiny voice suddenly chimed in. Host, I suddenly found out that Xie Rongjun is in trouble. If he doesn't handle it well, he might really lose his wife and children immediately. Do you want to hear about it?" Xie Rongjun's face changed drastically. "What trouble? How could this happen?" He just managed to secure a glimmer of hope for his child. How could he lose his wife and children now? The matter was of great importance. Xie Rongjun was afraid Su Lingyu would say she didn't want to know. He frantically signaled Huo Yan with his eyes, even suggesting he use his charm. Huo Yan and Xie Rongjun had been comrades for many years, and he couldn't ignore his brother's plight. But using his charm? With his personality, he truly couldn't bring himself to do that, especially with so many people around. Just as he was thinking about how to try harder, he suddenly didn't need to. Host, Xie Rongjun's trouble is somewhat connected to Zhou Fang. It's really unexpected. Zhou Fang? Tell me about it. Today, Huo Yan and Xie Rongjun made Zhou Fang lose face at the training ground, and afterward, they suddenly went to see their division commander. Although Zhou Fang doesn't know the exact reason for their visit, he's still vigilant. He's currently thinking of destroying the evidence of his collusion with the enemy, and even planning to set traps to frame Xie Rongjun, diverting the blame. Headache. Although Xie Rongjun didn't give me a good look at first, he was quite thoughtful later. He's an upright soldier. I can't just stand by and watch him be slandered. What should I do? Should I also close my eyes? System, everyone has a solution. Since Zhou Fang plans to harm others, we'll strike first and secretly report Zhou Fang's collusion with the enemy and explain that he designed to frame Jie Rongjun. Isn't that enough? Being cruel to bad people is also being cruel. The system immediately praised, "Wow, host's mind is really fast." Huo Yan and Jie Rongjun exchanged glances, their hearts settling. If the trouble was this, it truly wasn't trouble. As long as the higher-ups acted quickly, this dirty water wouldn't splash on them at all. As soon as they left the Huo family, Zhao Mei pulled Jie Rongjun and asked, "You won't be in trouble, will you?" "No," Jie Rongjun replied. "Knowing what the trouble is makes it easier to solve. Besides, with Huo Yan and even General Huo testifying for me, I won't get into trouble." "That's good," Zhao Mei was relieved. "The Huo family are all our benefactors." Jie Rongjun had to agree with that. Recalling Su Lingyu's words about being the pillar of the family, he felt that his future life wouldn't be so easy. Upon returning home, the smile on Zhao Mei's face didn't fade. Although she hadn't learned the specific details of Xie Wu's condition from Su Lingyu, seeing a doctor always took time. Now that she had a general direction and hope, she felt a great sense of accomplishment. The child's matter couldn't be delayed. The most important thing now was to build a good relationship with Su Lingyu and bring the child to visit her often. However, Su Lingyu's words also filled her with the excitement of having pushed open the door to a new world. Marrying a man? Marrying a man? Isn't that just about clothes and food? She now completely believed in Su Lingyu and was very happy. That big sister-in-law is no ordinary person. Before returning home, she asked the Huo family about Su Lingyu. It was said that Su Lingyu loved spicy food. Coincidentally, she found a large bag of fresh red peppers she had just bought and planned to make a jar of chopped chili for Su Lingyu. She laboriously filled a large basin with clean water, ready to wash the peppers, and then got the enamel basin used to hold the chopped peppers. Suddenly remembering something, Zhao Mei raised her voice and loudly called out to Jie Rongjun, who was sitting on the living room sofa. "Jie Rongjun, come over here. The child is mine. But for the child's sake, you, as his father, also need to put in effort. 2 people working, come quickly and wash the peppers together." Jie Rongjun knew it. He knew his wife was going to be led astray by Su Lingyu. In the Huo family's master bedroom, Chen Yusheng, as usual, poured a cup of warm water for Huo Jiangguo and placed it by his bedside in case he got thirsty before bed. After she also got into bed, she suddenly thought of something. She nudged Huo Jiangguo, who was reading a newspaper beside her. "After so many years of marriage, I haven't seen you wait on me much. Go get that small wooden hammer and massage my shoulders and back." "Huo Jiangguo, go ahead. Also, bring me the jewelry box that's on my dressing table," Chen Yusheng said. "We only have one daughter-in-law at home, so we can't treat her unfairly. That jade bracelet will definitely look good on her. I'll give it to her tomorrow." "All right." Huo Jiangguo looked up and rubbed his forehead, suddenly feeling that such days would probably only increase in the future. Meanwhile, in Su Lingyu and Huo Yan's bedroom, it was a completely different scene. Su Lingyu wore a dark red silk slip nightgown, her legs together, her long, fair calves placed to one side. She sat diagonally on the bed, her beautiful eyes sparkling with amusement as she happily counted her newly acquired wealth. She had agreed to entertain guests downstairs for Huo Yan on the condition of an appearance fee. Huo Yan's previous allowances had all gone to subsidize his comrades, so he had no money. But that was fine. He was very agreeable and reasonable. Pawning things off was also acceptable. Jade, watches, cufflinks, tie clips. She accepted all these things. Anyway, she could always exchange them for money when needed. The system couldn't help but say, "Host. Host, do you want to have Huo Yan work 2 jobs and start a side business? He has a lot of allowance each month and many assets, but what if it's not enough? What if one day you drain him dry and he has nothing left to pawn?" Active military personnel cannot engage in business or any other profession outside their duties. "I'm not such a cruel woman. If he really runs out of money, considering his height, long legs, broad shoulders, and narrow waist, a meat debt isn't out of the question, hee." The system giggled. The laughter of the person and the system was filled with cheerful calculation. Huo Yan took a deep breath. He, who never cared about material conditions, couldn't help but ponder in his mind how to expand his assets. Should I take on more missions or get more allowances? What if I can't come up with money in the future? I can't really do that, can I? Just then, he heard Su Lingyu's inner thoughts again. An appearance fee of 100 yuan per time. Even if Huo Yan acts nonchalant on the surface, he must despise me in his heart, thinking I'm a money-grubbing woman and hating me immensely. The system fully agreed. Definitely, but he's not wrong. I am indeed a gold digger. As long as I have money, after Huo Yan kicks me out, I won't have to live on scraps. I'll find a quiet little courtyard to live in, hire a live-in maid, drink tea, go shopping every day, and look at the natural, handsome men of this era. Life before death can at least be a bit more comfortable. Right. At this moment, Huo Yan, with his inner thoughts, and his father Huo Jiangguo, reached a high degree of consensus. Such days will probably not be few in the future. He also had a slight question about death, as mentioned by Su Lingyu. The night was very deep, and all sounds were still. In Beijing, at 2 or 3 in the morning, when almost everyone was asleep, a cat's meow and a bird's chirp suddenly broke the silence. Several agile figures dressed in black ran quickly through the deserted streets, arriving at their destination, a seemingly uninhabited small courtyard. After observing for a few seconds, one person made a gesture, and another immediately stepped forward to open the courtyard gate. A group of people filed in and quickly disappeared into the dense night. Half an hour later, the men in black left quickly in the dark, carrying a stack of documents. The next day, Su Lingyu woke up from her sleep. The first thing she did was reach for the small wooden box by her pillow. This box contained her wealth, which was her guarantee for a comfortable life after being kicked out of the Huo family. She turned her head and saw that Huo Yan had already left. Unlike her messy bed, Huo Yan had folded the towel blanket he had used neatly, smoothed the pillowcase, and even ironed out the wrinkles in the bedsheet, just as he always appeared, silent, serious, upright, and traditional. Su Lingyu is amazing, but she really wants to mess things up. Hugging her towel blanket, she rolled back and forth on the bed twice, making Huo Yan's side of the bed just as messy and full of life. Only then did she triumphantly curl her red lips. As for Huo Yan leaving, she didn't care at all. What she didn't know was that Huo Yan was in Huo Jiangguo's study and the father and son were discussing matters related to her. Yesterday, intelligence personnel who had sneaked into Zhou Feng's private residence found exact and detailed information that could prove Zhou Feng's collusion with foreign forces. Really? According to the records of correspondence, he has been colluding with foreign forces for half a year. The latest secret report, which hasn't been sent yet, is probably intended to be delivered in the next few days. Huo Yan immediately asked, "Is that what Su Lingyu said? How does the higher-ups plan to handle it?" Huo Yan asked not only about Zhou Feng, but also about their attitude towards Su Lingyu. Since it involves colluding with the enemy and treason, it will naturally be handled discreetly. Such matters are generally not publicized, Huo Jiangguo said. Anyway, Zhou Feng won't have a good ending. Huo Yan nodded. It was as he had thought. What he was more concerned about was actually Su Lingyu. Just as he was about to ask, Huo Jiangguo spoke first. According to the higher-ups, they want to arrange for some of your uncles to meet your wife and assess her character. What do you say? Huo Yan pondered. He had anticipated this day, but he hadn't expected it so soon, mainly because Zhou Feng's matter was too sudden. Fortunately, the higher-ups' attitude was very amicable, and there was a lot of room for discussion. Huo Yan countered, "Since the matter involves Su Lingyu and cannot be explicitly told to her, how should our family respond? What do you think, father?" Huo Jiangguo felt a headache coming on. Su Lingyu's background is too mysterious, and she knows too much. That's one thing. She doesn't know that her inner thoughts can be heard by others, and it's hard to control what a person reveals when they're unprepared. That's another. It's truly difficult to balance loyalty to the country and care for family. His eldest son always had many ideas, but Huo Jiangguo was impatient with roundabout explanations. He went straight to the point. Your own wife. You protect her yourself. Directly state your bottom line. Huo Yan calmly stated, ensure her personal safety and respect her personal wishes. As for how to do it specifically, Huo Yan organized his thoughts and said logically, I suggest meeting in an informal setting first. Guiding the conversation during the discussion would be better for a gradual plan. I was thinking the same thing. Huo Jiangguo nodded. What pretext should we use? Do you have any ideas? Next month is Father's birthday. We can find a reason to hold a small gathering a while beforehand, without making a big fuss, but inviting a few uncles to the house should be very reasonable. That's a good idea, Huo Jiangguo nodded affirmatively and then asked. But the higher-ups require at least 2 meetings. This method can only be used once. Do you have any other ideas? Huo Yan was about to shake his head when he suddenly remembered Huo Lang's bruised and swollen pig-like face. If he has time to eavesdrop outside my door, why not put that waste to good use? His mind worked quickly. He calmly said, Huo Lang will be 20 after the new year. He's not young anymore. Since he's rarely home for the summer vacation, why not arrange a few more blind dates for him? Huo Jiangguo was very surprised. Your brother still has 2 years until he graduates from the military academy. Isn't it a bit early to worry about marriage now? First, it's just a pretext. Second, it's just a blind date. If they really like each other, letting him spend 2 more years with the girl before considering marriage isn't bad either. Huo Jiangguo suddenly realized and nodded in agreement. Good idea. Let's do that. It's just a shame that not all of your uncles have daughters. Otherwise, your brother's blind dates alone could complete the task. He was a man of action and immediately called Huo Long. A few minutes later, after hearing the whole story and realizing that he, at a young age, had to bear the heavy responsibility of the organization and was tasked with blind dates, Huo Lang was speechless. No way! A bolt from the blue, like being struck by lightning. He really wanted to fall in love, but he liked gentle, cute girls with sweet voices. The daughters of his uncles were all military academy students, just like him. Every single one of them was stronger and better at fighting than him. Am I really going on a blind date, or am I going to my death? Huo Yan asked faintly. Surprised, speechless? What surprise? Huo Lang was on the verge of tears, only wanting to say, Brother, don't trick me. Haha! Huo Jiangguo genuinely thought he was surprised and encouraged him with a smile. Besides your Uncle He, who will bring his daughter, several uncles in politics will also come. You must perform well and not disgrace me. And those in politics? Don't! Huo Lang thought to himself. Those involved in politics are all cunning. Growing up in such a family, having been exposed to it since childhood, he highly doubted he could survive more than a few days with such a partner. Did he know why he never mocked Huo Xiang for only getting 8 points in math? Because he once got 6 points. Leaving the study, the lazy artist Huo Lang, for once didn't lie on the sofa to watch TV, but went to the backyard to practice military boxing. Soon he was drenched in sweat. Your brother has really grown up. He knows he's going on blind dates and feels a sense of urgency. He knows he needs to work hard. Seeing this scene through the window, Huo Jiangguo sighed to Huo Yan. Huo Yan's father misunderstood something. Some people just didn't want to be beaten too badly by their blind date. Huo Jiangguo reported the 2 plans, which were approved by the higher-ups. However, since the guest list for the birthday celebration still needed to be finalized, the blind date plan was put on the agenda first. A day later, Su Lingyu woke up from a lovely afternoon nap. She yawned, her eyes half closed, then opened her moist, misty eyes and was startled by Huo Yan. This person was sitting by the window against the light, silently, expressionlessly, staring at her with a pair of dark, deep phoenix eyes, like a tall tombstone. Is he here to bury me? Huo Yan, what are you doing? Su Lingyu patted her wildly beating heart, genuinely about to laugh from anger. You're not sleeping and you're just staring at me here. Do you have some kind of serious illness? You're not attracted by my beauty, are you? No, not. Su Lingyu's alluring eyes narrowed slightly, making her even angrier. Her beautiful eyes swirled. She picked up the water cup from the bedside table and splashed it at the man in front of her. Let me wake you up, she said angrily. Her words suddenly stopped. Her splashing technique was too good. Most of the cup of water was splashed onto Huo Yan, with hardly a drop spilling outside. The cold water wet his hair, flowed down his face and rolled onto his long, straight eyelashes and his firm chin, giving him a bewildered yet alluringly ascetic appearance. He was wearing a military green, short-sleeved shirt and loose, same-colored military pants. Dark water stains extended from his chest down to his lower body, unfortunately concentrating in the middle. The darker clinging fabric subtly outlined his well-defined, firm 8-pack abs. Because he was sitting, the alluring V-line was not visible, but the wet area below his waist, well, the shape was undeniable. Su Lingyu suddenly lowered her gaze, innocently looking away, at the sky, at the ground, anywhere but at the man in front of her, playing the part of being irresponsible. Huoyan wiped his face, his deep phoenix eyes a little darker. He spoke calmly. "Su Lingyu, what are you doing?" Su Lingyu's face immediately flushed. She quickly retorted, "Wait, you don't think I did that on purpose, do you? Do you think I'm that kind of shallow, bad woman who would deliberately tease you and cling to your body? Huoyan, you're not towards me, you're Huoyan. So what was he doing here?" After a moment of red-faced staring, Huoyan spoke first. If you ignored his reddened earlobes, he appeared calm on the surface. He said, quote, "The guests downstairs brought their daughter to the house for a blind date with Huo Lang. Mom and Dad asked me to call you down to help keep an eye on things as the elder sister-in-law." "Oh, is that so?" Su Lingyu immediately calmed down. A hint of a smile appeared in her alluring eyes and she nodded demurely. "So you're asking me for a favor, right? Then you'll have to make me happy first. I haven't even progressed on today's daily task yet." Huoyan lowered his gaze. "How do you want to be entertained?" "I heard you military men are strong. How about this, you give my calves a massage?" Su Lingyu extended her fair, slender foot, barefooted, and placed it on Huoyan's knee, raising an eyebrow at him. No sooner had he finished speaking than he stretched out his fair, slender foot and placed it, bare, on Huoyan's knee. Su Lingyu looked at the scene in confusion. "What's going on? Host, could it be that Huoyan is trying to please you?" the system asked. "He's trying to please me? I'm not so sure about that," Su Lingyu said, sitting up from the bed, preparing to go downstairs to check out the situation. Guests had indeed arrived. Fruit plates and several steaming cups of clear tea were on the coffee table in the living room. Huo Zhangguo and his wife were chatting idly with an unfamiliar middle-aged couple on the central sofa. "Little system, do you know who the people sitting on the sofa are?" I know. He's called He Chengzhou. Before retirement, he was a general, just like Huo Jiangguo. The girl next to him is his only daughter, He Ying. This time, she's here for a blind date. However, He Ying isn't their biological daughter at all. Upon hearing this, Su Lingyu's face paled in surprise. She never expected a blind date to unearth such explosive news. Not only was Su Lingyu shocked, but everyone else present was stunned. Especially He Chengzhou. He looked at the daughter he'd raised for nearly 20 years, unable to believe it. Dong Hongxiu also nervously gripped her daughter's hand, looking at her with a worried expression. By all accounts, the youngest, He Ying, should be the least able to hide her thoughts, but she was the most composed, with no emotional fluctuations on her face. Su Lingyu curiously glanced at the three of them. "What exactly is going on? System, quickly explain it clearly." Under Su Lingyu's urging, the system slowly unraveled the story. He Chengzhou was assigned to a remote farm in a border region more than 10 years ago. Medical conditions there were very poor. Dong Hongxiu had a difficult labor when giving birth. In the end, the mother was fine, but the child couldn't be saved. At that time, a pregnant woman on the bed next to Dong Hongxiu gave birth to a baby girl. Her family, favoring sons over daughters, insisted on drowning the infant. The pregnant woman then begged Dong Hongxiu, hoping she would adopt her child. Dong Hongxiu had lost her own child, didn't want He Chengzhou to be sad, and couldn't bear to see the infant drowned, so she agreed to the adoption. That baby girl was He Ying. But in fact, He Ying had always known her true identity, but Dong Hongxiu didn't know that her daughter knew. So that's how it is. Then how did He Ying find out about her identity? It was because Dong Hongxiu had given her address to that pregnant woman back then? That woman initially just wanted to keep a memento, but later she gave birth to a son. After learning that the He family was well off, she started having malicious thoughts, wanting to swap her son and daughter. Dong Hongshu certainly wouldn't agree to such a thing. Seeing that she couldn't swap the children, the woman blackmailed Dong Hongshu with this matter, saying that if Dong Hongshu didn't give her money, she would take He Ying back home. He Ying was also a smart person. When that woman contacted Dong Hongshu, she found some clues. Worried that her mother would be entangled with bad people, she coincidentally investigated and discovered her own identity. But she didn't want to hurt Dong Hongshu, so she always pretended not to know. Dong Hongshu, who had been incredibly nervous, instantly broke into tears of joy upon hearing this. Regardless of whether they shared the same blood, over 10 years of mother-daughter affection couldn't be faked. Before, both had kept this matter hidden in their hearts, fearing that exposure would hurt the other. Now that it was openly discussed, it was as if the clouds had parted, and there were no longer any barriers. For a moment, both mother and daughter felt a deep gratitude towards Su Lingyu. Su Lingyu had just finished eating the melon, enjoying the gossip, and curiously looked at Dong Hongshu and He Ying, only to see tears welling up in their eyes, looking as if they were about to cry. A hint of confusion appeared on her smiling face. Seeing this, everyone present was instantly startled. Dong Hongshu and He Ying, who were being observed, became even more anxious and self-reproachful, afraid that they had aroused Su Lingyu's suspicion. Just as they didn't know how to explain, Su Lingyu's inner thoughts sounded again. Oh, I know now. They must be thinking about having a blind date with a simpleton like Huo Long. Seeing that bruised and swollen pig-like face, there's definitely some despair in their hearts. Huo Lang was speechless. Why is it me who's injured again? Seeing Huo Yan sitting by the sofa, Su Lingyu chose to sit next to him. As she passed him, she deliberately stomped on his foot, then shot him a triumphant, teasing look. That's for bullying me in the room just now, hurting my foot and not letting go. Now I'm gonna bully you too. Huo Jiangguo cleared his throat, as planned, and began discussing the blind date with He Chengzhou and his wife. It wasn't until He Chengzhou mentioned that they had found a lot of evidence of Zhou Fang's collusion with the enemy and treason in his private residence, and that he had already been imprisoned and was awaiting sentencing, that Su Lingyu's inner thoughts sounded again. Little system. Zhou Fang must be dead for sure this time. Definitely dead, but it's really too easy for him. I just found another one of his crimes. He was even involved in human trafficking, and among those who were trafficked was He Ying's cousin, Wen Yan. He Ying's heart leaped in shock, and she excitedly stood up in front of everyone. Her unusual behavior immediately caught Su Lingyu's attention. Seeing that something was wrong, Dong Hongshu quickly pulled He Ying's hand. Child, I was just talking to your Auntie Chen about when you'll get engaged and married. We're not forcing you to get married immediately. Why are you reacting so strongly? Wen Yan, Su Lingyu immediately understood. So she's being pressured to marry. This really can't be tolerated. He Ying, on the other hand, regretted her impulsiveness in interrupting Su Lingyu's and the system's inner conversation. She was pondering whether to steer the conversation toward her little cousin's disappearance when she heard Su Lingyu's sweet and soft inner thoughts again. A little system, do you know where the children trafficked by Zhou Fang are being held now? I know. They're all locked in a farmer's cellar next to the train station, dozens of them. And one child, because he kept crying, was directly suffocated to death by them. Su Lingyu's brow furrowed. They're scum! No, I'm going to report them! The system instantly grew anxious. Report them for what, host? You have to remember you're a villainous character. You absolutely cannot be kind. Don't worry, I'll find an excuse to go out later and quietly report the news to the police station. Absolutely no one will know it was me. It won't damage my villainous image in the slightest. At this, He Chengzhou discreetly signaled to Huo Jiangguo with a cough, indicating he needed to use the restroom. Huo Jiangguo instantly understood his meaning and nodded imperceptibly, guessing what He Chengzhou was gonna do. He Ying's heart finally settled a bit. Normally, she adored her mischievous little cousin. Now, suddenly learning the whereabouts of her missing cousin, how could she not be excited? Thinking of this, she looked at Su Lingyu, her eyes subtly showing more gratitude. After another 10 minutes or so, the He family took their leave. Su Lingyu didn't care. She was only thinking about how to leave here quickly so she could report it to the police and rescue the children trafficked by Jabba. Looks like I'll have to act up again. Su Lingyu cleared her throat, then looked at Huo Yan beside her with a displeased expression. You said you'd accompany me to buy clothes, and it's been several days now. Is it your brain that's injured, not your leg? Are you planning to play dumb? A hint of helplessness flashed in Huoyan's eyes. "We'll go buy them now, all right?" Su Lingyu's eyes flickered with surprise. Why did he agree so quickly this time? So she deliberately loosened her shoelace, then raised a slender, jade-like foot and slowly extended it under his nose. Quote, "Since you're so sincere, then put on my shoe first. Also, you hurt me in the room just now, and I'm a little uncomfortable. After we get in the car, you'll massage my calf. If you don't massage it well, you'll carry me when we go shopping later." Huoyan subconsciously recalled what had happened in the bedroom earlier. His ears instantly turned crimson. Is he really going to massage my leg this time? Before, he could awkwardly run away in the room, but in the small space of the car, there seems to be no escape. Huoyan picked up the thin-strapped sandals from the floor, ready to put them on Su Lingyu. But he looked up and saw Huo Xiang and Huo Lang, the siblings, watching the show from the side. Su Lingyu was completely focused on bothering Huoyan and didn't notice their small actions. Being teased by his younger siblings, but unable to scold them out loud and attract Su Lingyu's attention, Huoyan's ears were crimson, practically dripping blood. The heat slowly spread to his face, and he seemed to be on fire. Seeing him like this, Su Lingyu was a little surprised. Just putting on a shoe and the little cucumber is already this angry? If I do something even more outrageous to him later, he'll explode. Not far away, Huo Xiang and Huo Lang, hearing the words little cucumber, almost rolled on the floor laughing. "Wow, host, you're amazing!" I can feel Huoyan's heart pounding and his breathing is rapid. He's really angry. "Host, look! He's even glaring at you!" Su Lingyu looked up. Huoyan's dark, inky phoenix eyes were close, containing suppressed anger within their calm depths. Within the anger, there was also a hint of sharp determination to prove himself. His eyes are really beautiful. They're genuine phoenix eyes. Huoyan's inexplicable anger subsided a little. He took a deep breath, wanting to block out these voices. Just then, Chen Yuxiang walked out of the kitchen, smiling as she rescued her biological son. "Since you're going out, you two might as well go to the foreign trade store and buy some nice clothes. Don't be reluctant to spend money." Su Lingyu looked back at her mother-in-law and couldn't help but sigh inwardly. My mother-in-law is truly a good person. It's just a shame I only want to find an excuse to go out and report to the police. And Huoyan is also a pauper. He doesn't have money to shop at the foreign trade store at all. Upon hearing this, Chen Yujiang immediately said generously, "If you don't have enough money, you can just ask." Huo Jiangwo, who was also there, was also very generous. "Don't worry about the finances. If you don't have enough money, take 500 from us." According to the average monthly income in the capital at that time, 500 yuan was already equivalent to tens of thousands of yuan in later markets. Su Lingyu's heart instantly rejoiced, and a smile appeared on her face. "Finally, I can buy some good clothes. Besides the cheongsams my mother-in-law gave me, all the other clothes are so uncomfortable to wear. Even my shoes are uncomfortable. When have I ever suffered such hardship?" Just as she was about to agree, the system's little voice suddenly reminded her, "Host, this is a good opportunity to complete your daily task. Directly ask for a lot more money. Whether you get more money or not, you'll leave the Huo family with the impression of being greedy and shameless, making them hate you more and more. Maybe you'll directly complete today's villainous task." Su Lingyu thought it was a good idea. After all, she had too many things she wanted to buy, and she was already worried that 500 yuan wouldn't be enough. She cleared her throat, but before she could make trouble, Huo Jiangwo waved his hand grandly and said, "If 500 isn't enough, then take 1,500. If 1,500 isn't enough, then take 3,000. Is this all the cash we have in the house? It's all yours. Buy whatever you like when you go shopping." Chen Yuqiang also added, Yes, Lingyu, all of this is just for you to spend. Just buy what you like. Don't worry about Huoyan. He's a big man with thick skin. Anything will do for him." Su Lingyu was stunned. Am I hallucinating? Why is it that when I bully the male lead, Huoyan, his family not only doesn't stop me but even smiles so happily? Shouldn't they hate me? The system immediately replied, "Host, after testing, your mental state is currently good. Aside from being a bit heartless, there are no other problems." Huo Lang, who hadn't gone far, suddenly burst into a pig-like snort of laughter. Su Lingyu looked over in confusion and suddenly felt her ankle gently grasped. She looked down and saw Huo Yan, blushing, putting on her shoes for her. Huo Yan's expression was serious. Though his movements were a bit clumsy, his demeanor was incredibly earnest. Su Lingyu looked down at the flushed man in front of her and suddenly felt a little interested in his past. "System, tell me about Huo Yan." The system responded, "Host, when Chen Yuqiang was pregnant with Huo Yan, everyone said she was having a girl, and Chen Yuxiang happened to like you very much. So she prepared many little pink dresses for him. As a result, Huo Yan was raised as a girl from childhood. When he played house as a child, quite a few little boys even fought to be his husband." A hint of embarrassment flashed in Huo Yan's eyes, and he blushingly interrupted Su Lingyu's internal monologue. "The shoes are on. Let's go." Outside the bus station, as soon as Su Lingyu got off the car, she saw a public telephone. She rushed over to call and report Zhou, then, feeling unburdened, prepared to go shopping. Before transmigrating, she bought too many luxury brands, so now she was more interested in old tailor shops. She went to Chuji, a shop where Chen Yuxiang used to get custom clothes. The master craftsman at Chuji was already in his 70s, but his spirit was still strong. After taking 2 sets of measurements, he quickly sketched several clothing styles for Su Lingyu to choose from. Only children make choices. Adults, of course, want them all. She chose one of each type of clothing, placing a super order. Seeing Su Lingyu walk out smiling, Huo Yan, who was waiting at the door, looked thoughtful. "He's running so fast?" Su Lingyu glanced at him. "As long as you have money, there's no need to overthink it, okay? I bought clothes for all 4 seasons. Just go home and wait to wear new clothes." Just then, a young man and woman walked towards them. "Su Lingyu, did you find out I was coming here today? So you deliberately came to block me? I've already told you I don't love you anymore. Why are you still so unreasonable? I'm with Yu now. She's kind and gentle, 1,000,000 times better than you. I won't go back." After speaking, he intertwined his fingers with the woman beside him and proudly raised his hand for Su Lingyu to see. Su Lingyu looked bewildered. "Little system, who are these 2 fools?" The system replied, "Host, this man is your first love, Wang Zheyuan, and the woman is your former good friend, Zhang Yuyu." Su Lingyu nearly fainted. First love and former best friend? What kind of century-old dog blood drama is this? Are these 2 playing such games? So now they're showing off their affection in front of me. Could they be trying to brag? Just as Su Lingyu was about to erupt, the system immediately appeased her. "Host, don't worry. I have a supreme solution here. Wang Zheyuan originally thought you were heartbroken from your breakup, which is why you married into the Huo family in a fit of pique. He thinks you must be living a miserable life in the Huo family. I suggest you now go and show off your affection with Huo Yan and directly slap them hard." Su Lingyu thought, "Huo Yan cooperating with me? That'd be strange. I've never even given him a good look. Is his brain filled with water to help me? What kind of ridiculous ideas are you giving me?" Hearing this, Huo Yan, who was just about to speak from the side, instantly choked back his words. The system continued, "Host, you can also tell Wang Zheyuan that his girlfriend is pregnant, but the child isn't his." "What?" Su Lingyu was stunned again. What was the relationship between the original owner and these 2? Also, what's the situation with Zhang Yuyu's child? Little system, quickly tell me in detail. Su Lingyu had never intended to just swallow her anger, but in the novel, the evil female supporting character was just a simple tool, with not much plot relevance and no background information. Now, these 2 people suddenly appeared, and she didn't know what had happened between the 3 of them in the past. She wanted to retaliate but couldn't find a starting point. Luckily, she had the system to inquire about the past. Once the system clarifies things, I'll hit back at them hard. Su Lingyu was eagerly waiting for the melon gossip, but didn't notice that Wang Zheyuan's expression had already changed. Noticing Wang Zheyuan's abnormality, Huo Yan's guard, Zhao Kei, walked up to him and handed him a pre-prepared note. Wang Zheyuan's pupils constricted after reading it. Then he saw Huo Yan's cold expression and knew that the Huo family was not an entity he could afford to provoke. He subtly shook off Zhang Yuyu's arm and finally nodded. Just then, the system's little milk eagle, a nickname for the system's voice, chimed again. Host, you and Jiang Yuyu were neighbors and good friends, but you lived a pampered life from childhood, while she lived in a dark, cramped shack only eating leftovers and wearing your discarded clothes. So resentment and jealousy constantly brewed in her heart. She felt that since they were both human, why should you be different from her? Later, when she learned you were with Wang Ziyuan, she tried to attract Wang Ziyuan's attention. Wang Ziyuan usually relied on you to get by, having to coax you every day. Gradually, he felt he was enduring humiliation for survival. At this point, Jiang Yuyu provoked him again, and he got together with Jiang Yuyu. After you lost your usefulness, he directly broke up with you. Su Lingyu was somewhat incredulous after hearing this. Are these two crazy? The original owner kindly helped them, and that actually insulted them. As for the child in Jiang Yuyu's belly, it belonged to Wang Ziyuan's roommate. One time, Wang Ziyuan had a fever and fainted. Jiang Yuyu went to his dorm to take care of him, and as a result, his rich and handsome roommate, who was drunk, mistook Jiang Yuyu for his girlfriend. Then the two directly sat down next to Wang Ziyuan. After that, the two also went out together multiple times. Because Jiang Yuyu initially seduced Wang Ziyuan just to anger you, she actually looked down on Wang Ziyuan. Now, there's a better option than Wang Ziyuan, so she's naturally going all out to hook him. These past 2 days, she's been planning to confront that rich and handsome guy and force him into marriage. Wang Ziyuan's face turned red and then pale after hearing Su Lingyu's conversation with the system. At this moment, Jiang Yu was looking at Su Lingyu with a smug expression, seeing her standing there in a daze, unable to say anything. She thought Su Lingyu was deeply hurt by Wang Ziyuan's previous words. Jiang Yuyu, feigning weakness, held Wang Ziyuan's arm. "Ziyuan, stop talking. I think Lingyu can't take it anymore. After all, she was so good to you, often buying you food and groceries at school. Speak to her more gently." Previously, whenever she said this, Wang Ziyuan would recall Su Lingyu's condescending generosity towards him, feeling deeply humiliated and thus disliking Su Lingyu even more. But this time, Wang Ziyuan looked at her with a ferocious gaze, as if he was about to reach out and strangle her. Jiang Yuyu's heart tightened. She quickly reassured herself, no, Wang Ziyuan should be trying to kill Su Lingyu. But Wang Ziyuan's gaze remained fixed on her, making her increasingly fearful. "Ziyuan, are you looking at the wrong person?" Su Lingyu let out a soft snort. "Jiang Yuyu, stop pretending. Just tell Wang Ziyuan directly that you're pregnant, but the child isn't his. Don't you just want to dump him and be with his roommate?" Jiang Yuyu's face instantly turned pale, and large beads of cold sweat appeared on her forehead. "What nonsense are you spouting? I did this so secretly. How does Su Lingyu know?" But Wang Ziyuan definitely wouldn't believe Su Lingyu. He'd only think she was trying to sow discord. Thinking this, Jiang Yuyu regained her composure, then looked at Wang Ziyuan with a wronged expression, just about to cry and beg for protection. The next second, a fierce slap landed on her face. "Jiang Yuyu, how dare you cheat on me?" Wang Ziyuan roared furiously. Su Lingyu, afraid of being caught in the crossfire, quickly dodged behind Huo Yan, then watched the drama with great interest. Wang Ziyuan couldn't take it anymore. To hell with his rationality, he couldn't be rational at all. Wang Ziyuan's face turned beet red, and like a mad bull, he pounced on Jiang Yuyu. The two quickly got into a violent fight. Xiao Kei promptly retreated back to Huo Yan's side. Su Lingyu looked surprised, afraid of being affected, and took small steps back a distance, hiding behind Huo Yan's wheelchair before watching with keen interest. Why did they suddenly start fighting?